Hello, I'm Dynast Amir.
So I reached out to another friend of mine. I said, look, I need to go on vacation somewhere. Where should I go? He said, go to Africa. And not only am I going to go, I'm going to explore a new country. So I went to Tanzania, South Africa, Namibia, Mali, Senegal, Morocco, Liberia, Namibia, Kenya, the Voodoo Festival in Ouida, Gambia, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire. Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria. It's been a beautiful experience, just learning more about our culture, our indigenous culture. So Uhuru means freedom in Swahili. I'm in search of my roots. In finding that, I would experience my Uhuru, which is freedom.
Till next time, Dynast Amir, I'm out.
Peace, family. I hope all is well. I hope your Wednesday, hope your hump day is going well. Before we get started, as we always do, we have some announcements, but do me a favor, hit that like button again, please. Hit the like button as you come to the chat room again. Please hit the like button as you come into the chat room. What am I doing? Wrong button. There we go. There we go. Okay, share the screen. Share the screen. Guys, tour. So we are rolling to Sierra Leone in April. Again, we are rolling to Sierra Leone in April. It has not officially been announced. Again, I want to say it has not officially been announced. But I'm sorry, I said Bert. Sounded like Gucci Man. But a very, very reliable, close source, has told me the day of the citizenship ceremony that there will be another citizenship ceremony in April. Again, a reliable source, close, who's involved, in the process, citizenship process, said that there will be another ceremony in April, but it has not been officially announced. So I just wanted to put that out there. With that being said, we are rolling to Sierra Leone in April 18th through the 29th. Again, we are rolling to Sierra Leone in April 18th through the 29th. We will love to have you. Again, we will love to have you. Please visit Danfo, DANFO.Africa. Again, please visit Danfo, DANFO.Africa to learn more. Also, we are rolling to Senegal for the Jazz Festival. All right, Senegal for the Jazz Festival, May 21st to the 30th. May 21st to the 30th, we are rolling to Senegal for the Jazz Festival. We'll love to have you guys. Please go to Danfo.Africa. And then Nigeria, Omo Niger. Okay, Nigeria. We are rolling to Nigeria for the Osun Festival, August 6th to the 15th. We'll love for you guys to come visit Nigeria, August 6th through the 15th. Come enroll with us. Again, come enroll with us. We'll love to have you guys. All right, to host you guys. And then also, of course, listen, if you have not bought the documentary, if you have not bought the documentary In Search of Uhuru, which is the #1 Africa, I guess, related or inspired documentary, the #1 documentary dealing with Africa. If you have not gotten your copy, or not really gotten your copy, if you have not streamed the documentary, go to searchforuhuru.com. Again, go to searchforuhuru.com, support, and buy the documentary. All right, without further ado, let's jump into today's topic. You know, I see a lot of people who are upset by Akon's comments in regards. Yeah, Sakir, I saw that. Yeah, they just announced that in May. So Guinea-Bissau, if you got your paperwork, DNA paperwork for Guinea-Bissau, they are offering citizenship. Shout out to Sister Amani in the chat room. They are offering citizenship as well, Guinea-Bissau, if you have your African ancestry DNA paperwork. You have an opportunity to get citizenship from Guinea-Bissau as well. So let's jump into today's topic, you guys. So I see a lot of people who are upset in regards to Akon's comments. If you don't know, Akon made some comments. Let me scoot this up a little bit. Hold on. Okay. Akon made some comments, gave his opinion on, I guess, Africans on the continent being able to dance better and entertain better than African Americans. Guys, I'm looking at it from both sides, okay? And I'm going to give my balanced answer. All right. Or my balanced opinion to Akon's comment. We got to break this down by generation, okay? I will say pre-2010. Yeah, he was talking about stage performances. So I would say pre-2010, Black American, we when it comes to stage presence, you know, when it comes to entertainment, outside of Beyonce's the exception. Beyonce, you know, Beyonce's Beyonce. She's gonna put on a show no matter what. We had the advantage. All right. Now, the trash that is coming out of our community. Chris Brown, too. Chris Brown is talented as hell. So you got Beyonce, Chris Brown. Chris Brown is dope as hell. But you guys cannot tell me, all right? Let's have a conversation. I want to be I want to be polite. I want to be respectful. But let's have the conversation. You cannot tell me. Now, again, like I said, Beyonce, Chris Brown, stage presence off the chain. Could put on a show. Yeah, but Usher is, you know, like I said, pre-2010. 2010, by far, entertainment, stage presence, entertainment coming out of America, off the chain. Now, you have to think about it. All right. When it comes to Black American entertainment, who is front and center as far as the media? Lizzo, Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, and NBA YoungBoy. Again, Lizzo, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, NBA YoungBoy, Lil Durk, So Akon has a point. And I've said this, I've said this before, and people got offended. Afrobeat, I'm a piano, off the chain. I will much rather listen to I'm a piano and Afrobeat than anything coming out of America right now. Glorilla. So I'm sorry, I forgot Glorilla. So Glorilla, Lizzo, Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, NBA YoungBoy, Lil Durk. This is who is front and center and is representing the culture coming out of America. So Akon has a point. Kendrick Lamar, what, once every like 3 years he pops up? Again, Kendrick Lamar, he'll show up once every 3 years, once every 2 years. So this is who the artists I just named pretty much represent the entertainment, the music that is coming out of Black America. Now, Cardi B is not Black American, but still, they represent the industry, the entertainment, the music. I forgot Lil Baby. This is who represents our community when it comes to entertainment. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. So I see that is why I wasn't offended by Akon's comments, because he makes a great point. Meanwhile, you got I'm a Piano, you got Afrobeat. And like I said, the Afrobeat, I'm a Piano, they are crushing the music coming out of America. But this is that's neither here or there. And I've been talking about this for the past 11 years. Everything is now shifting towards Africa. America's attention is now shifting towards Africa in a more productive and constructive way. But y'all are so upset about Akon and his opinion on Black American entertainers versus African entertainers that you guys are losing focus over what's really important. And that is to have your Africa plan and to look into opportunities to Africa. Because now the United States of America has policy where they're going to be focused on the continent. And I told you it was coming. In fact, I want to play this speech. Let me look it up real quick. Let me find it. I want to play the speech by Eric Adams. Now, Eric Adams is a ADOS brother, but I want you to listen to the speech. All right. Let me play this real quick. Like, this is important. So while you guys are beefing over who dances the best and who's the better entertainer, this is what's going on. Akon does have a point, but since he's not technically Black American, it's going to rub people the wrong way. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like, I agree with Akon, but I'm looking at it from both sides. And I want to be as balanced as possible. Pre-2010, the momentum was on our side. Well, when I say our side, well, I'm ADOS, I'm African. I'm saying the momentum was on Black American side. Now it's Afrobeat Amapiano. And Lizzo, Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Glorilla, Lil Durk, NBA Youngboy, that's who represents the culture. Again, that's who represents the culture. So yes, Akon is right to a point. I just think he needed to be a little more specific. But let's watch this keynote speech by Eric Adams. This is at the U.S. Africa Summit. Appreciate the super chats, you guys.
And now, without further ado, I would like to welcome our first speaker. This is a man who has served our host city his entire life. First, from within the NYPD.
Guys, I apologize. That was the wrong speech. Hold on one second. This was an important speech. I gotta find it, man. Like I had it pulled up on TikTok. Well, actually, somebody sent the speech to me via WhatsApp. But it was a pretty dope speech. Guys, bear with me for a second. Oh, here we go. I found it. Here we go. I got it. And guys, I want you to just listen to Eric Adams.
Coming to the stage.
Now, I don't agree with everything Eric Adams says, okay? Yeah, of course. I criticize Africans. I criticize everybody. Everybody's fair game. I criticize everybody. I call out everybody. I'm balanced. But I want you guys to listen. Even if you guys don't agree with the premise of the U.S. Africa Summit, if you guys think that America's true intentions are not sincere when it comes to Africa and American relations, just listen to what Eric Adams has to say. Just listen to his speech.
Now, I am honored to welcome New York City Mayor Eric Adams.
I'm going to say to my African brothers and sisters, we have to be present in the moment. Have to be present in the moment. Prior to becoming the mayor of the city of New York, I was the county executive for the borough of Brooklyn. And my mother, in her third grade education, was intimidated by that building. It was a room and building that was extremely impressive. But then when her son became the county executive, she would walk in the building with a different level of energy. She would walk in the building with this sense of pride and purpose. And then my aunties and my cousins and my nephew, they would come, and when they entered the building, they entered with this sense of sureness that their bloodline was in charge of this county, the largest county in the city of New York. And so I need for my brothers and sisters from the diaspora to understand the moment that you're in right now. You are in a moment right now when the first time in history, you are seeing power that is not American power, but it's African power. But if you don't connect the dots, you are not going to understand the full purpose of this moment. The mayor of the most important city in the most important country is an African. It's an African.
So Eric Adams, who I believe is ADOS FBA, identifies as African. And again, you guys might not agree with the summit, but just listen to what the man has to say.
The head of the minority leadership in Congress, Hakeem Jeffries, is an African. 4 of the most important cities in America are headed by Africans. In New York City, the top law enforcement executive, Letitia James, is an African. The head of the Assembly is an African. The head of the Senate is an African. The head of the City Council is an African. The public advocate is an African. The district attorney in the Bronx is an African. The district attorney in Manhattan is an African. All of this chocolate, what are we going to do with it? So if you come to Washington and you use this moment to be in a corner somewhere drinking wine and eating off of plates, then you don't understand the significance of this moment. Africans are running this country. You need to walk differently. You need to speak differently. You need to act differently. You need to feel the power of Africa. It's the moment we're in right now. My 7 trips to Africa, watching the different energy and spirit of Africa. We have to connect the dots. You can't walk in this country anymore feeling like a stranger when an African is running the country. You have to think differently of what we must do. You have been denied, ignored, and exploited on the continent of Africa for too long. All of your natural resources have been taken. You're the largest producer of cocoa, and others have made the chocolate out of it. Now you make the chocolate out of your cocoa coming from your country. Use your natural resources in a manner they're supposed to be used, and bridge the gap with your cousins, your uncles, your aunties that are here in America. When I went to Ghana last year, in Gorée Island 2 years ago, we left the continent in slavery. I returned with the majority. That is how we have to start thinking as Africans. So this conference is significant. Share ideas, cross-pollinate energy, come up with real gains. Let's focus on what is needed on the continent. And let's utilize the power we have here and make it exciting and encouraging. Let's duplicate what Ghana is doing, giving citizenship to those who are here in.
So you have the mayor of a major city, black mayor of a major city, encouraging dual citizenship for Black Americans. But you guys want to focus on Akon in his comments about entertainment, who entertains the world the best. He just brought up dual citizenship for so-called ADOS, FBA, however you want to identify yourself. He just brought it up. I just took a group to Sierra Leone, got them passports, got them citizenship. Just took a group. So this movement, no matter how much you get upset at Akon or the few Africans that allegedly, you heard from a friend of a cousin or of a cousin, sister's brother, Nigerian co-worker called you a kata. This movement is not stopping. And I told you guys 11 years ago, it was going to happen. Now, listen, I don't agree with everything Eric Adams says at all, but he was dropping some bars in his speech. And he brought up dual citizenship. He brought it up. He brought up dual citizenship for Black Americans. But no, instead of building on that, you guys want to focus on Akon. Let's continue.
America so they could be citizen of the continent. Let's allow that dual partnership of our aunties, our uncles, and our friends coming home. My mother transitioned last year from the physical to the spiritual. Nothing great gave me a greater honor than taking her name and placing it on Du Bois' wall in Ghana. We need to awaken the spirit of our ancestors that lay on the bottom of the oceans that were ripped apart from our shores. They're watching us right now. We have to ask ourselves, what are we going to do with this moment? I am ready to turn that question mark into an exclamation point of saying we will unite. And we will listen to Marcus Garvey when he stated, "Up, you mighty people, you can be what you will." Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Wow, that was empowering.
All right, guys. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. You know, a word from our sponsors. We got to pay the bills. And then I'm going to put the link in the chat room. If you guys want to call in and add to the conversation, you're more than welcome to. Again, I'm going to put the link in the chat room. If you guys want to call in and add to the conversation, more than welcome to. But we're going to take a quick commercial break.
At the Okoli Law Group, we specialize in producing justice. If you or a loved one in the Atlanta metro area is facing serious criminal charges, then you need serious legal representation.
The Okoli Law Group is here for you. The Okoli Law Group is here for us.
The Okoli Law Group, serious legal representation.
Hi guys, I'm Jay Dior, intuitive reader and spiritual advisor. If you are someone who has been looking for more clarity or guidance on some of the issues that you have been experiencing in your life, then you can head to my website, bougievoodoo.com, where you can check out my reviews, or you can go ahead and book a session now. Also, check out my boutique, J. Dior Beauty, where I sell everything from luxury virgin hair and wigs to high-quality sport bikinis and swimwear. There is free shipping on all orders over $100, or you can use promo code YouTube for an extra 10% off. Scan the QR code to check out the site now.
Hey you guys, it is your girl Alexis Fowler coming to you with a special sale of 40% off all of my services when you use promo code VIP40 at alexisfowler.com. As a brand designer and consultant, I provide services like digital art, logo designs, packaging designs, web designs, social media flyers, and much more. If you're an entrepreneur with a business or a startup company and you need help with branding and graphic design, make sure you take advantage of this opportunity with 40% off using promo code VIP40 to get 40% off on all my services at alexisfowler.com.
My bad. Guys, last but not least, make sure you go subscribe to our brother, the Simp Police Academy, our brother Hustle Smart. Again, please go subscribe to our brother, the Simp Police Academy. Go and support our brother, our Shotty. How you guys say it in the South? Shotty. Go support the Shotty, the Simp Police Academy. All right, let's go ahead and bring on these callers. Gas them up. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, you doing the right thing, man. Just you got to ignore these people. And like I told you, I've always said people like Akon are some of the worst kind of Africans you're going to deal with. They're very whitewashed and Americanized in their outlook, and unfortunately, um, they're not thinking of the bigger picture. So when they say these stupid things out their mouths, it's from an arrogant perspective. It's not from a perspective of understanding, and it's unnecessary competition. Who cares if whether I'm happy just to see black people win. When I see Usain Bolt win the gold, I don't care if he's from Jamaica. I just want to see a black guy be Superman. When I see LeBron James dunk, that's just all that counts, right? So, when you start hearing this type of talk, it just shows you that, unfortunately, as I've said before, we have to start ignoring the celebrity class. You have to start ignoring these selected individuals who a lot of them are dumb. I, a lot of them aren't. They're just dumb. I'm sorry to say. It's just it may be arrogant on my part, but if you're not well read, you're just not well read, and you shouldn't be out here having conversations about these things in terms of African American culture or African culture. A lot of these people are just not well read. They don't read. They don't do the research. So.
All right, go ahead, Kala.
Okay, I just want to say this. What's up, Gas Lumumba? Here's the thing. What bothers me about this whole Akon thing is, for how many years I've been saying that his so-called Akon city is a farce. I've been saying it allows anybody. I never approved of it. Why? Because to me, like I said, somebody's been in the Pan-African movement for almost 30 years, right? I've seen people come and go, right? And we had the idea for a city-state for African diasporas called the Afghanistan years ago with the BAO, right? Somehow he got a hold to the idea. He comes in and brings Chinese, European investors and everything, and talk about cryptocurrency. And we're asking the question, okay, well, who's going to own the city? Who's going to collect the taxes? Who's going to create the policies? When you create a city, there's laws, there's municipalities, there's bylaws, there's all these things that you got to consider when you want somebody to live in. Nothing of that was talked about. It seems to me that the Chinese and the Europeans, all his partners there. Now let's see who is Akon, right? Akon was a ghetto thug rapper, right? Who I listened to his music back in the day. I never thought he was that good. But he sung about the most. He went out of his way to be more violent, more thuggish, and I thought it was phony from the beginning. He was just too extra with his shit, violent, murder, thug, and all stuff like this. I say the same thing about Jay-Z. I say the same thing, and you know how I am. I'm consistent. I say the same thing about at least 50 Cent. Don't try to be he don't give a shit about the community. I can respect that. I don't like these lukewarm people like the Killer Mikes, the TIs, who try to put on a personal persona of helping the community, which they don't really give a damn about the community, right? So the same thing I'm saying, Akon. I'm not picking on him because he's African, so don't come to me like that. My whole thing is you don't just one day build your career talking about thug killing, murder, drug dealing, the game, and all stuff like that. You have to choose a side, and that's the way I see it. You have to choose a side. So if you're with that side, this doesn't surprise me the way he thinks like that. What he said was really, really malicious, and he had to know what he was saying, that he's comfortable saying that. So, and it has the biggest thing. He's constantly for last years saying African Americans should come build his city. He doesn't say Jamaicans. He doesn't say Nigerians, right? He doesn't say South Africans. He doesn't say Ghanaians. He says African Americans should come and build in Senegal, build, this is where you live and everything. And to make a comment like that, right, at the same people you're trying to reach out to, it's about just blatantly disrespectful. Now, if he was basically saying it's going to be a Pan-African city, if African Americans want to come, they don't come, that's fine. We're going to build a city regardless and everything. Like Diana said, it's going to move on without you, whatever. That's fine. But he made it a point of targeting African Americans with his outreach. This is going to be an African American city and all stuff like this. And then he makes a comment like this. Now, I want to say something about the music industry. The current music artists don't represent the culture because if you really look at it, right, I don't know half these rappers are till they're dead. People going into their own streaming services, they don't know who these rappers are. And these rappers got their own thing. And not only that, what I found out is that a lot of people are doing fake streaming. They pay people to push their numbers up, the algorithms up. So an artist could blow up like, where the hell did he come from? And next thing you know, people see that, that he's booked, and then he's in your face. Back in the days, entertainers had to go out there on the road. They had to sell mixtapes. They had stuff. So we don't know who these artists are coming from. To say that's the face of black culture is not true, right? Corporate America, 300 records. All these people are pushing people on us. They're not our culture. It's what they push on. That's what they choose to play. That's what they choose to promote. That has nothing to do with us, right? If you really want to know about African American popular culture, you still got R&B stations. You still got throwback radio stations, and then you see the culture that still exists. You still got gospel music. You still got reggae. Yeah.
Name a current mainstream R&B artist.
I cannot. I don't know. I don't listen to the radio anymore. I'm like divorced from this whole thing. I can't go back. I go back. I listen to throwback radio. I don't know anything that's going on in the mainstream Black American culture. I don't see it as called culture. So that's because I really believe that. When I see all these artists up there, I turn the TV off. I don't accept it, whatever like that, because I know real black music. Real black music touches your soul. If a person ain't got soul, they ain't really black. You can't just get up on stage and say, "Oh, no, it don't work like that." And the bottom line, we lost everything. You got to the part where you got white artists singing R&B. Where the hell did that come from? You got Koreans singing this stuff now. And so the bottom line, we lost who we were as a people because we gave everything up. Now, like I said about Akon, right? Akon.
Oh yeah. Let's go ahead, Professor Lumumba.
Right, and I'm gonna get at you in a minute, Dynast. But so historically, there have been white artists that have sung R&B. Tina Marie is a good example.
Yeah, she was Blue Eyed Soul. You remember her? She was Blue Eyed Soul.
But she sung R&B, right? The other issue, I would kind of agree with you. But part of the issue, we didn't give anything away. We just didn't control the industry. So you can't give something away that you don't control.
Exactly.
So that's an issue. That's an issue within itself. But that's an issue. But Dynast, you know what it is. I told you I'm at you annually. I'm gonna see you on Saturday. You better turn up. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Not a silver spoon gold. They said, listen, we were born with a silver spoon amount. No, we was born with a gold spoon. Not a silver spoon gold. Not a silver spoon gold. Literally, I told you I'm at you annually. So you think it's sweet out here. We talking about Akon, that's good and all. This is a great conversation for the community. But Saturday we're gonna be at that ass boy, no homo. Remember that.
Pause. Strong pause. Lumumba, let's get back on topic, man. Listen,
okay.
Saturday 8 p.m. Y'all gonna be getting drugged. So
that's cute, real cute. Real cute. Sound good.
What are your thoughts on the topic? topic?
My thoughts on the topic. The other issue, and I'm glad you redirected me. What Akon is, I don't take umbrage with it because it's true. And one of the issues we have in our community, as I state on my channel on a regular basis, we have an external enemy and an internal enemy. The internal enemy is what the racially disempowering, self-defeating, and self-destructive manner in which many of our people live their daily lives. Whenever we call someone out on it, it's always, you're a self-hating Negro, you're being anti-Black, you're trying to engage white folk in some way, shape, or form. Matter of fact, today's the third day of Kwanzaa, right? Today's principle is Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Part of that principle teaches that we need to be critical of ourselves and what we do in our community. So I don't.
Do you consider Akon a legitimate person to be saying that, given the fact that he made his millions promoting the same thing he talks about?
I'm glad that you asked that question. So he had.
That's why I don't. That's why I can't.
Let me answer.
He could just shut up. He could just be quiet.
You asked me a question. Let me answer. It's
okay. All right.
Not question. You lecture, and maybe I can answer. Okay, so let me answer the question. He made 2 albums that I recall. The first album had the hit song "Locked Up." I wasn't a fan of it. To me, it was glorifying what? selling drugs, criminal activity. He also had two other singles on the album that focused on social issues. One of the songs talked about ghetto, and in the video it showed ghettos in the Black community, ghettos in the Native American community, so on and so forth. So it focused on some social issues. His second album, I remember the label said, okay, you had some success basically being yourself on this album and having some socially responsible content. So the second album was more pop related, and it dealt focused more on like dance and club music, so on and so forth. With that being said, I understand the record industry coming from Dayton. You know, we have a history of being a home of funk music. So I was able to, you know, be adjacent to a lot of individuals who are in the industry. And oftentimes, unfortunately, individuals are making music or promoting a perception of who they are as an artist that's not rooted in reality. A good example would be Angie Stone. Another good example would be the sister India Ari, to where based on label pressures, they started making different music and promoting a different look that moved away from what the neo soul movement and music that they were part of in the beginning when they launched their careers. With that being said, I don't take umbrage with it because what he said is true. Right. And so I tend to look at the argument, and I would attack the argument and not the person. If someone says, hey, Bakari, you're only 6'1" tall, I don't give a damn who it is. What they said is true. Right. So I take issue with the argument, not the person, because a broken clock could be right twice a day.
Let me ask you a question, Lumumba. Now, when he says the artist, right, as he talking about all the artists out there, he said them people, right? He didn't say the rap artists. He didn't narrow it down to that. He said African Americans. It's basically talking about every person, whether the person is a jazz singer, person's I'm
gonna stop you right
there. He didn't specify.
Okay, here's the issue. One, you are speculating, right? Just because he said African American artists doesn't mean he was talking about.
I heard. Yo, look. He said, this is what I'm saying. Why is it somebody can say African American? But if you say,
ask the question, let me answer. This isn't lecture. This isn't question and lecture. Then answer. It's question and answer.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
He said an African American artist. It's almost like when you go to church. The preacher is giving a soliloquy, and you feel like he's talking directly to you. But to someone behind you in the pew, third from the back, they're like, hey, I don't know what he's talking about. So the reality of the situation is the comment he made was reflective of artists who engage in that type of behavior and that type of public performance of who they are. It doesn't apply to individuals who don't engage in that behavior.
I don't buy that.
So
I don't buy that. That's a
use blanket
coward. That's a coward way out.
Like African American.
Why do you he use a generalized term?
You know, Zulu asked the question.
A specific term.
This is what I would say to you, Zulu. I like the point that you made, and I think this is why we need to get in contact with him. My brother Dynast has a great platform. We bring him in, and then we ask him the question ourselves rather than speculating.
Right. I agree. Now, I feel like I can understand what Akon is trying to say, but the thing is like you got to be really careful with your words nowadays. Like somebody could just take 10 seconds out of a soundbite of what you said and just take it and run with it, and it looked like that's what everybody did, bro. Like I don't think people really put into context.
Irrespective of how responsible you are with your words, if you're saying something that's provocative, if you're saying something that goes against the grain, if you're making a statement that is socially unpopular, people are going to be to chop and screw that ish like they in Houston, H-Town, and make it into what they want it to be. That's the reality.
Right.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Well, let's
Kasha, let me ask you a little bit.
Let's Super 79.
I need to ask a little more question.
Okay, Super 79. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hey, Dynast. Thanks for having me. How you guys doing on the panel?
How are you?
Let me pause that. I feel like the entertainment seems to be too strong with a lot of politics going on in the community. Like we got a lady that got evicted in Alabama. You got the president of Ghana who spoke directly to African Americans to come back. Did you see that, Dynast?
That's a nothing burger.
Just chill. Just my man, chill. It's not that big deal.
No, I saw it. I saw it. Of course.
There's way too many.
It's lip service.
Yeah,
What do you
just
mean?
lip service.
Elaborate. What do you mean by that? What do you mean
It
lip
was
service?
lip service, bro. Because all of us in the Pan African movement know it means
Ghana
nothing.
is not serious about having African Americans come back to Ghana and own land over there. That man, he want our money. That's all.
And not only that, he also said that he wants the United States to be Ghana to be used as a proxy to wage a war against Russia. He's hyping up the Russia thing, so he's ready to freaking put Ghanaians and African Americans living in Ghana in danger by letting the United States turn West Africa. That's what they want. They want West Africa. You better all you people call yourself Pan African, but
Nah, you speculate.
listen very carefully. The United States lost. They hold on. It's not speculation. This is real. If you know history, if you look at what they did, what they installed Pinochet in Chile, right? All throughout Central and South America, right? The United States makes billions of dollars, sending the weapons, juntas, and all the stuff like that. Central. That's why you got millions of people on our border right now.
Yeah, how
These
come
countries
did he take money?
unstabilized. They want to do the same
How
thing.
come Congo and Gambia got the money then? How come did he take the money? How come?
Hold on. Let me finish, bro. Let me finish. You obviously
You said
aren't armed
proxy
to
war.
debate me. Okay, we get that. There's like 30 American bases in Africa with AFRICOM. What are you talking about? Right now, the president of Congo just signed exclusive mineral rights to the United States and Zambia. And also, the president of Congo says he wants help overthrowing Paul Kagame. We're in the freaking Africa being willed into a world war right now.
So how is Ghana going to be when Gambia the one that sold their right? Congo sold their right.
First of all, hold up. You understand Congo is one place and Ghana is another place? I'm talking about two different places.
But you specified that Ghana is going to be used
two different
for
places.
proxy war in the West, right?
I said that's what's going to happen because it almost happened. It almost happened in 2018.
You got hold on. Now stop using history.
Ghana almost sold this country out by U.S. military base in 2018 until social media got a hold to it and stopped it. This same guy, Ivan.
Listen, you cannot.
So now he's back talking about I need the United States
money.
Okay, it's no speculation until people.
Hey, let's pass it.
Until it's all speculation until the shit happens because people don't read books.
Okay, gas them up. Go ahead, gas them up. Gas them up. We can't hear you. Gas them up. We can't hear you.
I think he double muted.
Gas them up. We can't hear you. Super 79. Go ahead.
Well, again, it's not. I get what who was that? Well, that's Kala. Yeah, I get what Kala's saying. I'm not trying to just dismiss history, but are we talking about the now? You got to look at those two that took the money and the other people that didn't. And to get back to this point about what Akon said is, it seems like there's been too much emphasis on the entertainment when we got a lot more issues going on. You put too much energy into that. He said it, so what?
No, we put that. Let me ask you a question. So when every time when we get ready to have a serious conversation, the first thing they do is black people in general.
Okay.
Every time we look around on Revolt TV, was anybody up there on Revolt TV that have the added people not from the entertainment industry? No, they're all entertainers. That's who traditionally the white media and now the black establishment put in front of us, entertainers, right? So when somebody's unequipped like Akon gets up there talking about I'm building a city and whatnot, and black people are like, okay, Akon, yeah, I got to hold him to a higher standard. Now, if he was just some other rapper, I wouldn't say that. But he's involving himself in Pan-Africanism and stuff like that. So I got to step up and say, no, brother, you out of line. You know, you specifically came from Black America and whatnot, and that's wrong. Because, like I said, we as African Americans, we are very careful. I know for myself, I'm very careful of how I talk about Africa, out of respect. But there seems like this idea that, and Akon's not talking from a Pan-African point of view, that I have to disagree with my brother Lumumba. He's not talking from
my issue with what Akon said was like,
Akon cannot speak for the whole continent. You can't put too much weight on him. There's 54 different countries.
I know he doesn't speak for. I know he doesn't speak for continent.
And that's what things
annoying.
Pit
each other against each other.
What do you put it? He's one man from Gambia that was successful, so he gets to speak for everybody now.
He's from
Senegal.
I mean Senegal, excuse me. But it's like again, too much emphasis on these entertainers. And
No, but people are going around saying, "Oh, Akon was right." Akon's a freaking moron.
But Kasha, the black community does put too much emphasis on entertainment and sports. So
no, I do agree.
And you got way too many problems, and it's like, geez, you got that woman that got freaking
I
arrested
agree.
for
We should be taking what
$77.
he's saying
There's way
this
too much
serious.
going on. It's like Akon, what he said that? What isn't it free speech? When Republicans say sideways, what can you do about it? You get mad and move on, right? And they still do the same shit they do.
It's really nothing to get mad about, but it's going to be ignorant people.
So should Africans move on when Trump called Africa a shithole country? Should Africans just move on and say, "Hey,
Most
that's no
Africans
big
with
deal"?
common sense don't take Trump seriously. You got
Africans. I lost African friends because I said Trump got good ideas. Just for saying that.
Friends.
You know what I'm saying? I have Africans that, how you like that? No, I don't tell you who has any friends, but I'm just saying there's a lot of Africans who still won't let that go. No, won't let that go.
You got to remember, you're in a country where.
But when it comes to African Americans, y'all getting in y'all feelings and everything like that. But you say something about Africa, and Africans like will never forget. Like, African Americans will move on and forgive Akon in 3 years.
Give me examples.
Other people they kept going grudges to their grave.
Every
Give me
time I say
examples of what
Gaddafi
African-
wasn't African, I get continental Africans attacking me.
Well, you act like Gaddafi was helping everybody. Again, there's 54 countries in Africa. Just because he helped a few people don't mean he's supposed to be their Jesus. I mean, like,
No,
again,
I don't
you got to
think
put
you
things in the
understood
proper
what I said.
perspective.
I don't think you understood what I said. I'm saying Africans are the only people that's checking me when I say Gaddafi's not African.
So what's wrong with that, though?
What do you mean? What's wrong? He's not African. That's what's wrong with that.
okay, and let's pass it. Let's pass it to Mr. Cunningham. Go ahead. Wisdom never sleeps. Unmute yourself. You gotta mute yourself.
All right, thank you.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna be brief because I don't like to be on panels with people just argue and go way, way, way off topic. That's just childish to me. This is not grown men talking to me. So I'm gonna just say that. So, a couple of points. Akon words, whatever they were that y'all say they were, did what it was intended. Because the so-called Black African American people, the only thing they seem to always pride themselves in is their culture. Everybody follows us. Everybody patterns after us. We the ones set the trend across the world. And when he addressed that, compared to the motherland people of today, it set the thing on fire, which he needed people here. And the only way you can get some of them to pay attention to Africa, research artists, which can research the country, is through cultural war. It's a psychological move. It's not so much he's challenging the African American singers, dancers, entertainers of any kind. Let's use some wisdom sometime and not all this argument, gentlemen. This other thing is this. When Adams was talking, that clip you played, most people missed something because Gassamup said it as well. No. Dr. Lumumba said it about ownership. He was up there speaking and naming all the African people of African origin that had offices in DC, New York, and all this stuff. But what he says, you got Africans running this country. So how can the African run this country when the African American also don't own? They don't own nothing here. You can't run what you don't own. You're in an appointed space. You have to be listening to what people are saying. He said Africans are running this country, and we're not running this country. And
I
so
agree.
those are things right there. People are
It's feel good. It's feel good stuff.
Whether it's feel good or not, it's the fact that it's trying to get the African people to believe in something, to get their guard down, to get them even more backstab or tricked with the whole meeting and these gifts, because they know at a certain percentage of greedy leaderships will take it no matter what. So they can
Not
get
this time.
families okay, but it never will benefit Africa. Because when he said, even though that's the facts, what he said in there about using your resources, leverage them, the point is he's being used, just like most of them, to tell Africa, stop dealing with Russia, stop dealing with China, deal with us, America. You got to use the black face from those who will agree that they're from Africa to get them to disarm themselves, not be as alert or look real good at what this so-called deal is, because they have always gone with their handout. So even though he has some points that are correct, you should leverage that stuff, but leverage it from what you want to do with whomever you want to trade with, but also learn how to bring yourself people in and say, no, we don't want you digging. We don't want you excavating. We want our people doing it. And that way they are job sufficient, they're living well, and it's done right here so you can oversee it. That's the mistake that's always being made when it comes to natural resources, manufacturing, and everything that don't strengthen Africa as a collective body. So let's get out of this emotional roller coaster. I'm gonna tell you why what Akon said is the vote blue no matter who affect. That's why you never get anything tangible. You always get booty to the polls, no effort, no voting. All these things are what touches your emotion as a black people. And it did it one more thing, and so y'all are looking at everything from your emotional shoulders and not, so you know what? They got to stop triggering us. And we got to start looking at policies, what affect us as a people. And I was
let me ask you a question, Brother Wisdom, about the policies. Did you heard about the DR Congo and Zambia giving because Hunter Biden was at this for years now, giving the United States exclusive rights to cobalt and the Congo. Did you see how the cobalt is mined, right? It's not mined with things. You got kids as young as 9 years old picking cobalt in bags that should be in school. And the Biden administration is basically co-signing that. So that's where I'll get your cell phones and your laptops, stuff like that come from. And so therefore the United States basically is going to have an exclusive because last year the United States government, the Congolese government kicked a lot of Chinese miners out. That's their business. That's their country. They can do whatever they want to do. But here's the thing: you have MD3 rebels in the Congo right now, who's giving the Congolese government Kinshasa a major problem. Now you got all these African countries, Kenya just sent troops there to the region, and then the Congolese. But Rwanda, they're saying that Rwanda is behind it. I don't believe that. Rwanda is fighting rebels among them. It's hiding among those troops and everything. I've been studying this for years. And so therefore, the DR Congo, for some reason, the president says that he wants Joe Biden's help in containing and get rid of Paul Kagame. That's not in the spirit of Pan-African. We can't ignore this. That's serious.
Colin. Okay, let's not take every question and then make a sermon, because it just takes a lot of time to follow you sometime. But yes, let me say this. With all that you stated about the children being used, which they've been doing in Congo and everywhere else, that is not a Joe Biden problem. That is not a Hunter Biden problem. It wouldn't have been a Trump problem. It wouldn't have been a Clinton problem. The problem is still with the African leadership. They don't have to allow those things. When they make a deal for someone to come in, like I said, and they use child labor like that because the families don't really have anything, they haven't built any infrastructure properly for them to go on and raise the kids properly, that's going to happen. So yes, everybody around the world will jump on that and leverage it. But that's an African and African American problem, because the African American use the same phones, the same TVs, the same everything. And we're aiding and abetting of the destruction of both on that country as well. We just have to look at it. I keep saying we got to get out of this emotional stuff and look at what's real. And the reality is,
Brother Wessel, let me ask ask you a question, right? Now, when you see those children now, that breaks your heart, right? That does. That really almost brings me to tears, seeing African children, because I see myself, right? I see myself when I see Africans suffering and everything. But it seems that, and this is the problem, it seems that if I say something like that, right, and I mention that, whatever, the first thing a lot of Africans will do is say, "Oh yeah, you're putting down Africans. You're trying to make them." No, they don't understand it. I see the suffering of my ancestors' DNA come from the Congo. You know, I see people that could be my distant relatives. They're suffering. So I basically have an attachment to that, and a lot of Africans don't understand that. And so therefore, my whole thing is this. My whole thing about Akon, what he said was, it ties back to Akon, right? When he said it, he was distancing himself from thing. Like if I say I'm the number one people talk about pants sagging, everybody like that. Dice knows me for years. I hate that stuff, right? But I'm saying it from a position of love. That you're us. He basically separated himself as an African. He divided Africans and African Americans. He said we have to do better on some of our stage presence. You know.
So one, you're speculating. You're speculating. Two, you didn't address.
No, I'm not speculating. I'm going by what he said.
Secondly,
what he said.
But I'm talking about in terms of the why he said it. You say he did it. You do it from a place of love. He's doing it from a place of separating. The second issue is Brother Wisdom.
Because the why? Because I looked at his music. I looked at his career.
Brother Wisdom brought up a key point. He said that the issue, because you're rambling again, you jump from the children working in the mines to now you're talking about Akon. So you're rambling. But what Brother Wisdom said was on point. That is an issue of the African leadership in those nation states. That is not something that we should be putting on America and the other country.
Why not?
I have a question. To your point, real quick. To Carla's thing about the heartstrings and the tears, I get all of that. But at the same time, when you say some of the Africans that you're dumping on them, that's also their way of deflecting. Pay attention to that.
Exactly.
That is all of us. So even when we try to say something about how Africa do, we do the same thing in many ways. We do.
Right.
We do. And we just have to own up to it because we still a collective people across the world with sufferings, with being used, abused, and some of them just we decided that, you know what, it's best not to be free. It's just best to be dependent. We'll hold our head down. No matter what you tell people, sometimes they'll deflect to something else because they don't want to absorb and face the factual truth, not the given truth.
Hey, Brother Wisdom, check this out. I heard Pastor General Jenkins did a whole sermon presentation where he showed pants, how you should wear your pants sagging down. He said, "This is about man where it's pants." And there's people, African Americans, who do it all the time, right? Say the same thing. Say all the Minister Farrakhan said it. I mean, all of us say it all the time, right? About the pants sagging, the culture, the prison culture. We've been saying this stuff for years, right? But the thing is, though, we're talking brother to brother, right? Brother to brother. So we don't get accused of things like this. When Akon said it, right, he wasn't talking brother to brother, in my opinion. He said African Americans, them people. You know how they are drunk on the stage. He doesn't know if anybody's drunk on the stage.
He's a millionaire.
No, these things have actually happened. What he mentioned, those things have actually happened before. But once again, it sounds like you're in your feelings. He gave his opinion. If you don't like it, whoop-de-doo.
Bro, I'm not in my feelings, bro. It's not that feeling. I'm just telling you, stating a fact.
No,
I'm not. You're sitting there defending them. You're saying I'm just saying.
No, you're giving an opinion.
I say in my observation, he said African American. He said African American. He separated. He said we Africans. He separated himself. We Africans. This is how we do it. Now he didn't make his money as a we African. He was over here thugging and doing ghetto shit all year. Now it's suddenly we African.
He doesn't speak for all Africans.
That's what I'm trying to give Lumumba to understand.
I got one question.
Man, I mean, you sound like you about to blow a gasket, man. Like, God,
it really doesn't matter. Honestly.
It don't.
Even the past saying, we talk about certain points and things. Yeah, it may be disgusting, but how is that going to prevent us from moving and going forward and changing other things? Because I don't care if they butt naked walking the street, they still are affected by policies, rule of law, and everything else that we fail to be putting our votes in our movement to. That's the fact. So we can stay on all these other things. These are distractive ways. We can have a conversation and teach brother to brother. We can do heart to heart, table to table. We can do all of that. Yes, it's necessary. But the problem is if we don't show, a lot of times you can just show them by who you are, how you dress, how you walk, how you talk, and don't judge. That's how you actually change people's ways.
And that's how I do, and that's how I live my life. I live by example.
Okay, so what I'm saying is this. We got to stop honing in so much on something that's so disdainful, that the fact we have no power, we have no effect on people, because energy recognizes your real energy. Right. Energy is out there. And believe it or not, the younger the person, the more easy it is for them to read your energy, not your words. They know your energy from within, not your words so much. This is why it's hard for you to get to people. Now, I'm just saying you as we to get to people younger, because we've got the wrong energy and they pick up on it. So I just wanted to say this. We got to get off of the thing. And the thing we should be saying is, guys, okay, he said this. And like the topic says, are they going to just continue the African-American plan for Africa? What is that plan? To keep putting each other down?
Well, I have an organization. I have an organization in several countries. Yeah. So I already have an African plan. I don't need anybody else.
All right. So Carla, and let me leave you with just a little suggestive advice from one elder to another up and coming elder. Try to stay within, and I don't mean this to be rude, but I've raised 4 boys, so I just have to say as I see it, because I watch a very long time. And you'll have a stance for Africa 1 minute, and if somebody come, you'll jump back over to America and fight up every African, and they can repeat the same things they heard you say for a long time. And if they're saying it, then you got to come back and say, now you just attacking America, but it was your words before. I've listened a long time. That has to stop true. Because it looked like a double-minded man, which in word is unstable in all of his words.
And wisdom. I listened to you for a long time. You don't think I forgot you? I remember you for a long time back too. And the bottom line is this: I'm not phony. I'm not phony. My whole thing is this.
I didn't say you was phony. You're highly educated. You do your homework, and that's why I would listen. But at the same time, when you go back and forth with people so much, it loses its luster. You have a lot of knowledge, a lot of history. Trust me, I know. You know things about Liberia and everything. I don't know. I don't ever take that away from people because I learn from people like yourself. That's why I don't always come on. But we got to stop the attack and seem like you for America 1 minute, you for Africa the next minute, and the person.
Oh, I never said I was for America. I'm for Black America. Say that. Not America. That's a different thing. No. I'm not for America. Really like that. America is
not. What I'm saying, brother, it'll sound like you jump, just like with Akon's one statement. You went attack road and protecting the American Black culture.
No. Let me say this, brother Wisdom. The whole thing, I was talking about Akon for years because I never bought the idea that somebody could be a thug rapper one day and then basically come up with this, I'm building a city for African Americans and everything like that. And I'm like this, I believe the Black family, I believe the Black culture and stuff like that. I don't even believe hip hop is African American culture. I believe that hip hop is a subculture that basically, because of the montage, it looks like African American culture. It's not, I come from a traditional African American family and culture. I know what Black culture is.
Hip hop is a subculture of African American culture. Rap is
subculture.
Completely different. Rap is something that's completely different.
Rap and hip hop. I'm from New York. I was there when it all started in the Bronx.
Let me finish. Hip hop has 5 core elements. Rap doesn't. KRS One, who comes out the Bronx, we know what he said. He says, "Well, rappers spit rhymes that are mostly illegal. MCs spit rhymes to uplift their people." There's a difference. But the second issue is Akon is not a thug rapper. He never was.
Well, Yeah, but when he's on songs like I'll Still Kill, I Still Kill with
It's the
50
only
Cent,
song that he
and he
made.
doesn't talk about drugs and stuff like that, my
Yeah,
keys
I mean,
and
okay.
everything like that, you know, and
Look,
the whole.
and guess what? And guess what? Beyonce did a song with Cameron where Cameron was talking about selling drugs. Does that make her a thug rapper? No.
No, but but come on,
What you mean? Come
Akon, come
on.
on.
Neo has made a song with 50 Cent before.
Come on, Akon. My whole thing is this.
You just don't
You
like
know,
I got a question, Colin.
no, I'm not saying I don't like Akon. You know, I just don't like it when he basically came out with this idea that yeah, we're gonna talk Pan Africanism and basically clean yourself up, and then after I say the same thing about a
He can
lot
do
of other
whatever the
rappers and
hell he
whatnot. You
wants.
know,
He's his
I
own
got a
man.
question.
If he wants to move from being a R&B singer to focusing on Pan Africanism, that's his prerogative. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
I could be wrong, but I just don't accept it. Sorry,
Okay,
I don't have
Kyla,
to.
I got a question.
That's my
Kyla, I
opinion.
got a question. So, Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black enough. And as soon as he got in office, got the age hate crime bill. What does more damage to black Americans? Is it Joe Biden?
I mean, come on, man, you have to answer your own question.
or Akon?
Of course, that you know. But
Okay, then why
it doesn't
come we
matter
have
because
more energy
black
for
people are going to
Akon?
vote for Joe Biden
How come we have more
again.
energy for Akon? I didn't see this much energy when he said that.
You have been watching the show. Dynasty and I did 5 shows on that. You know, what are you talking about? We listen.
I'm not
Guys,
talking
how many
about
shows we did on Joe
talking
Biden
about the
saying black is
whole
this and
community as
blue
a
no matter
whole.
who? We
They got
did. We
more
done. We
energy
done.
for
I
Akon.
have a radio show. I
I'm
did
not talking about
hundreds of hours on this
Dynast.
stuff.
I've
What
been
are you talking
following
about?
Dynast for a while. Relax, relax. I'm not talking about
But when you
Dynast.
when you
I'm
make
talking
a
about the
hold
whole
up, when you make a
community.
comment like that, where's the energy? We tore that shit up. Are you kidding me? We ate that shit up. This is the topic of today.
No, so now you're deflecting. Again, I
No,
said,
it's not
how
deflecting.
come
You're
Joe?
moving the goalposts.
I'm
Oh, why
not
don't we
moving
talk
the
about Joe
goalposts.
Biden? We'll talk. If you want to talk about Joe Biden again, we can set up a show. We'll do a show on
damaging?
Joe Biden. Tonight we're
This is
talking
the
about
question.
Akon.
What's more damaging, what Akon said or what Joe Biden said and did?
Or they're both damaging, you know. But that's not. We're not talking about Joe Biden tonight.
All right, man. All right, man.
Oh, we talked about Joe Biden all the way up to the election and whatnot, you know.
I'm
And
not
black
talking
people
about
still went out
what you
there
and Search for
and
Uhuru.
voted for the poll,
Those are the
voted for the
people
guy,
that's
you know.
switching.
So what are you talking about?
I know what I'm talking about.
So we're supposed
And
to
how
say
come there's more energy for
we're
Akon?
supposed to
I'm
sit
talking.
here. So in other words, we're not supposed to talk about anything else but Joe Biden because that's
Here you go,
what you want to
deflecting
talk
again.
about.
I was trying to show you the distinction.
It's not
How come
deflecting.
there's so much energy for this Akon guy who's got no power over you guys?
There's not an energy. This is probably going to be the only show we do on it. What are you talking about? We go hard on a lot of people. There's energy because this is a topic everybody's talking about.
That's my point. How come there's so much energy for this, but wasn't?
We are talking about it because that's what we can do. That's what we got these platforms for.
Just showing a distinction. Like Akon is great. I understand the money perspective. I'm not ignorant to the fact that he made a lot of money off Black American culture. But don't forget, he has a right to speak his mind.
Julie Zoe said, Colin Diners this sure did tackle Biden on his life. So we basically Biden left and right over that. What are you talking about?
And Search for Uhuru talked about. I'm talking about the community as a whole. Now you simplify.
Everybody was talking about that. What are you kidding me?
Sure,
everybody chimed in on that. Everybody was mad about that.
But they all voted for him. What did the first thing he did?
know?
He gave Asians a hate crime bill, though.
I didn't vote for him. You know, I didn't vote for him.
Then you shouldn't have that much energy then for it. It's okay. I understand. But again,
I didn't vote for this guy. What are you talking about?
I was just trying to show you a distinction. Like the energy is misplaced. And like Brother Wisdom was saying, you need to try and focus more on things that are more tangible to help Black Americans. Akon is one
we
person.
are, you know.
Akon is one
if you really
person.
want to tell tangent thing, join the BAO social network.
Because he's an
join the BAO social
this
network and whatnot.
leadership role,
Connect
like
with me
he's the leader
in
of
like
Africa.
15 different African countries on the
Akon
ground.
ain't
You
no
want
leader
to
of
join
no Africans. Okay.
Pan African
And
movement? You join me. When I told them
make
people
sure
to be
the
quiet.
people listening, Akon is not a leader of Africans. He's an entertainer. All right. He cannot speak for all Africans. Just because Chinese gave him whatever $100 million loan, that's fine. But you need to respect all the other individual countries and their cultures. This broad stroke of
The average African is not thinking about Akon, you know? the more Africans are coming to me talking about, man, what
My
the hell is
point
this guy talking about?
exactly. You're proving
You know
my
what I'm saying?
point.
So,
Exactly.
but we're just clarifying. I'm just on here to clarify how I feel in the situation. I believe that he basically came and he threw a wedge, right? He didn't say black and the we. Let me tell you something. And hard out, and I gotta get off in a minute, right?
I'm listening.
African Americans have been embracing Alpine, whatever music called, and Afrobeats. Afrobeats. I love Afrobeats. I love it. I love Afrobeats. Everybody's like that. And when Burger like Madison Square Garden, Busta Rhymes introduced him, everybody's like, "Wow, this guy's great, man!" Like this. And we look at these other up and coming Afrobeat artists. We love them. And the Wakanda 2 soundtrack. The only thing I liked about it was the Afrobeats. We had no African American music for the most part in Wakanda Forever. It was all Afrobeats. We loved it. We're embracing that. We're on a different level. We don't do this petty stuff. We embrace Africa. We embrace Afrobeats. We embrace all the African art. But for him to friggin' come at this time, we're trying to build a relationship between Africans and African Americans to do that, say something like that we're different from them because they're all like that. That right there is an abomination. It's almost unforgivable.
Are you saying Africans didn't support hip hop?
And I'll stand by that.
The Africans never supported hip
What are you
hop,
saying?
rap.
I'm not
You're
saying
it's one direction.
Africans,
Like
I'm not. Did I say that? No. I said African Americans. I said African Americans are not embracing Afrobeats. That's a big deal.
Oh no! You have no idea. Yes, they are. Just because the whole country of African Americans does not mean that. All right.
But with the bottom line, you don't see us. You don't see us. You don't see us basically like that. We basically because the bottom line is you look at the sound.
Go ahead.
Look at the soundtrack of Wakanda Forever. The majority are always African Americans. The soundtrack was all Afrobeats.
Beyonce, Burna
So don't try to put us on Akon's level.
What do you mean Akon's level? What the hell does that mean? Wasn't he part of the rap group? Wasn't he like Kala again? You're just deflecting back and forth.
No, I'm saying what Akon did was he caused a wedge. He says it's us and it's them. He created us and them in this conversation. That's what I'm talking about tonight.
Said again, you cannot take him.
Yeah, but I don't care about what some cracker Joe Biden said. I don't care about what that white devil thinks, whatnot. I'm talking about black people. It's more serious when black people are fighting with each other.
Guys,
I don't give a damn about no presidency. I don't give a damn about that devil in the White House.
I mean, not make laws, but hey, again, you got personal power, and you gotta take serious, and you got this entertainer that everybody got to smoke for, who they tend to throw.
Well, the bottom line, it's not smoke.
He does not.
I know. Look, in 2 years, in 2 years, let me tell you something about how we are. Right, it's real African Americans, right? In 2 years, we don't forgot about this. Akon will be a brother again. That's how we are. But sometimes families got to fight. Sometimes some families got to have discussion. That's how you get rid of the bad blood. If you was raised in a black community, you would know that.
Akon.
If you was actually raised around black people, you really know that.
So now you're attacking me. See, Akala, you're emotional. You need to check yourself and how you actually make arguments. You're not even clear. Now you're telling me.
But you sound like a white guy, man.
I sound like a white guy.
Yeah, because that's how white people talk. Oh, you're talking. Yeah, we talk with each other. But a year from now, Akon be kicking it with all of us. We be killing. But that right now on the table is what he said, and he has to come back and retract that statement.
Is it because I speak English a little different? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I don't think you so. I think I'm more educated than you are. You sound like a white guy.
Carla, let me rephrase the question, because we got to stop being so defensive first and foremost. Now, I know Brother Super asked a specific question, which should be asked and answered. Now, based on all the information you've done, all the shows you've done on Biden or any of those, okay, and the black people still voted for him, okay? One of the main things during that time, they were saying, just vote Trump out. We'll hold Biden accountable after we get him in the chair. So let's go there. Now, it's been silence. So all he's asking, let me ask it this way. Brother Carla, based on your previous shows, based on your knowledge of all the stuff you did on the Biden and all that, Democrats, yet and still, Black people won't give any energy to what he's done since he's been elected. But here we come, one Black person, whether from Africa or whatever, another artist, and we got all all the energy, and it's not the first time, it won't be the last. They got all the energy, the Kanye's, everything along the line. When it's black, we're free to attack. We feel easy to attack. So the question, the answer is, why do you think we, as people here, African Americans, still give more energy to attacking another black person, no matter where they're from in the world? A lot of times they're from here, than going after that white man that you had told them about already. Just why do you think there's so much energy that way, and not for the opposite people who really ruling over you? So I hope
I'll answer that. I'll answer that question. That's a very good question. And Brother Wisdom, I'm glad you asked that question. So I'm going to clear the air right now. And like I said, to my fault, right? I admit this topic got me a little emotional, right? But I've been talking about Biden and all that all this time and everything like that. I think for a long time in our culture, we have never had the ability to speak for ourselves. I remember back in the days when I was a kid, I never thought about this, right? We were so proud when Muhammad Ali would get up and say rhymes and look intelligent. And I remember mother was saying, when a black person got on television, right, as a sports car, the first thing they were saying, I hope he don't embarrass us. I hope he don't embarrass us. I hope they don't say something stupid, right? I remember when Leon Spinks got up there and whatnot, and the whole family just shake their head, man. How did this guy beat Muhammad Ali because we didn't like Leon Spinks because he sounded ignorant, whatever like that. It was sad, but it was the truth. So we are now just getting to the point where in our culture where we have a voice. So we can say well because we always had people put in front of us to speak for us, and we were not allowed to be ourselves in public, right? And I think Muhammad Ali was a breakthrough, right? He was basically boisterous. He said what he wanted, said what's on his mind, and stuff like that. Here's the thing. Now, as far as like Biden, right? You said that this guy did this, and we did this. Black celebrities, right? I just told you about black celebrities. Black celebrities, right, are the ones that in the sports stars, entertainers. Look what just happened with Umar Johnson, right? With Kyrie Irving and Kanye and everything like that. The whole everything. I thought that we had a new black media, right? This is what I'm talking about. We don't have a new black media. All we have is a parroting talking points of the mainstream media. Instead of basically the new black media saying, there's other opinions out there. Let's just talk about that. Who cares about ratings? What they do is repeat who's out there in the mainstream media. And the mainstream media has a good job of ignoring all this dissent. There was a lot of dissent against Joe Biden. There's a lot of black people talking about Hunter Biden. There was a lot of black people talking about things that's going on in the community. A lot of black people who right now, like in Baltimore, they're Nation of Islam and ordinary black men are getting taken to the streets because they're tired of black on black crime. They're tired of 300 kids murdered every day. They're tired of all this stuff. But if you listen to the mainstream media, right, the only thing we talk about is police brutality. We talk about a lot of stuff in our community. There's a lot of black people who talk about the single motherhood. They talk about other things that we correct ourselves in our culture, right? Culture. But the thing is, because of mainstream media, right? Mainstream media, because we don't have people up on top saying the stuff that we talk about every day and everything. When we do get a chance to lash out, right? It comes out like this. I by no means basically going to lose any sleep over what Akon said, but I just had to say that. Why? Because I don't feel that the mainstream media is basically going to talk on our behalf or stuff like this, and we have to talk about this stuff. If we're talking about Pan-Africanism, and you're causing a separation between black over here and blacks over there, and we're doing everything we can to say that look at our entertainers now. Most of our top entertainers are from the Black UK. We got Lupita, she's from Africa and whatnot. We're embracing this thing called Pan-Africanism in our own way, right? So therefore, that's what I'm saying. So we have to let that be known. Now back to Joe Biden and Donald Trump and everything like that. Black people, just like they were for Raphael Warnock. I don't know what's going on in Georgia. Dynas knows a little more about that, right? I have not heard one policy, right? It's not even a policy. Tell me what Stacey Abrams' policy was for Georgia. She left she had $100 million and she left $1 million in debt. And you got black people running around homeless right now because they got cut off. But what was her policy? They can't tell you. We don't talk about policy in Black America. We don't talk about what is she gonna do. She's a black woman. You got to vote for her, right? She's a Democrat. You got to vote for her. And the whole thing is this: the entertainers who influence us, and that's one thing. But if the black people in social media would have got on board and say, "Wait, well, what are you talking about?" Then they threw us a bone, a smoke screen, reparations. Now they got black people thinking that if they vote for Democrats, they're gonna get some reparations. They got all these tricks, and I always thought black people were the one with the street smarts. I thought we were the ones that was slick. It was, remember Richard Pryor and Adios Amigo with Fred Williamson. Remember how he swindled the whole town? But we were always known to be slick and swindlers. How is it that you got white people punking us out, getting us to the polls, not doing anything? What has happened to the black mind that we're so weak and we're so gullible? And could it be that basically we just live in fear of white people? And this fear has basically said that we don't vote for Democrats. The boogeyman Ku Klux Klan is going to come and get us and everything, which tells me that we're not really men. We're not really women. If this country, if black people can't look at a political electorate and say, I'm voting on policy, and black people beat you upside the head talking about you better vote for blue. I see an image of a black woman basically almost right where pull aside car beating us to death. So you better get out there and vote for Stacey Abrams. He said, well, I don't even talk about voting for anybody else. Then people will get violent with you. That's the atmosphere we live in, because we're not allowed to speak. So if we had that same energy for Stacey Abrams, Biden, and everything that I'm giving to Akon, we get someplace. That's why when people say something, do something, it's good that you check them. And that's what I want to say. If you check them and say what you got to say, no matter how emotional it sounds, things will start to change. But we don't do that. We just go along to get along. Oh, I just think everything's right. And black people have the same attitude when it comes to the Democrats. Don't worry about anything. Don't get emotional. Don't get angry. Everything like that. Just abide by. So it's easy just to go over there. I'm just going to keep voting the way I was voting for. So what if they don't give us anything? That's the mentality. But when you ruffle a little feather and say, look, you said if I'm not black, I'm not black if I don't vote for you. How dare you say something like that? We're going to show you the polls. That's what the Mexicans do. The Mexicans turn away from the Democrats because they're like, yo, look, you're using the immigration issue and stuff like that to get our votes. And they're turning away from them. They see the game. But black people, we're still slaves. Somebody's going to come here and tell me, Kyle, you shouldn't say this. Nobody stops College Jensen from saying what he wants to say. People should know me by now. I don't give a damn what people say in the chat room. It doesn't matter. Affect me one way or other. I know what I believe. I know what's right. I'm going to say what's right until the day I take my last breath on this earth. That's why we are where we are. We just let everything slide, everything go. And that's why we're voting Democrat. Because nobody stands up and says anything. We're just so quiet. Just going.
So in essence, in short answer is that we don't give the same energy on that blue side because collectively we fear the repercussions that can happen. Wherefore, when a black person, we can attack, let all that frustration out because there's no repercussions to us to attack us.
Exactly.
Okay. That's what the answer I thought it
Exactly.
was. Okay.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. The bottom line is this: until black people get to the point where you don't fear the Democrats, right? Black people terrified of the Democrats. Let me ask you, Brother Wisdom, right? Do you know we're the only 45 million people have no real political representation? The Democratic Party chooses who runs in every district that we have in America. Raphael Warnock right now could be the most powerful man on the planet because he holds a deciding vote. He could say, Chuck Schumer, I got 6 years. I got it in the bag. This is what I want. Nothing's going to get passed. I'll caucus with Republicans if you don't give me what I want. He could basically deliver to us a Pan-African agenda, bringing trillions to the African continent if he wanted to. But because nobody's going to step to him like that, like I would if I had the means to do it, nobody's going to step to him like College Jensen and say, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to how the Senate needs to be set up and whatnot. This way, until everything passes, that's how everybody else gets stuff done. You stick riders on bills. Okay, eat this. You know, this country right here, Ghana needs $50 billion. We need stuff like that. Some of that money you send to Ukraine, we just get $80 billion of taxpayers from Ukraine, and they're gonna talk about just one country, Ukraine, and they're stealing the money. This guy Zelensky don't even show up with a freaking suit and tie on. He showed up to the Congress looking like a bum, and we're okay with that because we sit back and don't say anything. We sit back and be cool. It's like this. I just say, look, just like the same fire I'll give Akon, same fire I'll give to the congressman. Don't ever let me get in front of the Congress and whatnot. Don't let me or someone like Angry Man get in front of these people and whatnot. It'll be fire and brimstone all over the place.
So
we can sit back because we just
same weight as a
sit back and
politician.
go for this thing.
So entertainer has the same weight as a politician. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this was basically a culture issue. I'm a culture critic. I'm a college genesis. I'm the college genesis. My title is the geopolitical pundit and culture critic. That's what I title myself as, the culture critic. So therefore, something that affects the culture, the black culture, I criticize it and I talk about it. That's what I write in my journal. And that's what I talk about on my radio show.
Because you did say earlier you're more educated.
That's what I do.
Right? How many languages? How many African languages do you speak, Carla?
Oh, I don't speak. I'll speak just one.
Oh, so it's not a smart thing to insult another brother on the call, saying you're smarter than me because
Well,
you got
I wasn't insulting you, but I'm just saying some of this. You can.
I sound white,
You
but
can be. Hold on. Let me tell you something. You can be highly educated and don't say don't hold on. Don't speak. Well, what you were saying basically, you're trying to trap me into these things, but and I'm telling you, you're not that smart.
If you're smart enough. You
because you're trying to.
Look
No, it's not a trap. You're trying to trap me. You're trying to move the goalposts. You know, you're saying one thing, and what does Joe Biden have to do with Akon?
I was making a very, very specific.
That's not. That wasn't that one. That's what I say. You're not that smart because that's a really good comparison. Today we're talking about Akon.
Elaborate.
Why?
Elaborate.
Because hold on. Okay, because one, this is a topic of the show. You understand? That's how we do things.
Who's we? You run the show, so I can't speak.
No, I'm just saying. What's the go out there and look on the panel. What is the topic of the show? Are we talking about the Democrats and Joe Biden tonight?
Prince Chiwuba, go ahead. You've been waiting. Go ahead. What? Weird. All right,
he left.
Go ahead.
Well, again, it's just when you're losing an argument, don't play the smart Western game because you got education. But yeah, you only speak one language. Then you insulted me that I speak multiple languages. But it's okay. But the point was,
what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, why are you bringing up Joe Biden when we're talking about Akon? What's Akon have to do with Joe Biden?
Act like an elder, man. Come on. You don't talk to somebody.
I am an elder. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking you if I insulted you, I apologize. I'm big up apologize. I'm not gonna do that again. Okay. You know? But I'm just saying that. Look, hold on. I'm saying, what does Akon have to do with Joe Biden? That's what I'm saying. That's moving the goalposts. That's changing the scorecard. That's changing the game. You know, in midstream.
I specifically said
it's like you're going down the court.
Okay. You win that one. I'll let you have it. I'll let you have it. But again, it's just common sense.
Okay, I'm just that's all that's all I'm saying.
There's a lot of issues. We just had this go back and go, right? And there was a lot of homeless black folks. Nobody talked about that, right? But again, all this.
Yeah, but like I said, but what does one have to do with the other?
Africa.
Bro, it's like this. Let me give you an example, right?
The title of the show says,
let me say something.
Should ignore Akon's comment and continue to work on Africa.
Right. Let me say
African American plans specifically, not even Africa.
Let me say this. I know that. Let me say this, right? Okay. Let's say take Prince Samir. His thing is, his beliefs is, get your passport, get an Africa plan, and get citizenship in Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau, where he's working at, right? And I support that. If that's what people want to do, they want to do that, fine. I have a different plan, ultimately and everything more than that. But if he's doing this, I support him 100%. He does it tours. like that. Now, there were some people that will come at Prince Dynasty Samir and tell him, why are you doing tours to Africa when we got homeless people in Atlanta? You see how how moving the goalposts change the game? You can walk and chew gum at the same time. But if the people that he said, if somebody's down there dealing with the homeless in Atlanta or where it's Skid Row in California, he said, Zion, you should go back to California. There's people on Skid Row that need you. Why are you doing it with it? That's disingenuous. You see what I mean?
Hey, let's.
That's what I'm saying when people come with this idea.
Let's pass the Moochie. Go ahead, Moochie.
Yeah. Greetings, everybody. So I just have two questions, for Carl. I was in the chat. One is just a comment, right? So you say one of the brothers who was speaking, you said he sounds white. I think that's very disingenuous and doesn't sound intellectual or smart to accuse somebody of being white because they have a different viewpoint.
Look, I was just joking. I apologize. Okay. I was just joking.
All right.
It's a joke, man. It's a joke.
That was no joke.
I apologize.
Well, it
was a joke, man. It was a joke, man. It was a joke. No, but that's what white guys do. What the white guys do with this. When you start talking about police brutality, they'll say, what about black on black crime? What about this? What about somebody got shot in this? You talk about a police who killed somebody in cold blood and walked away with it. They'll start talking about something else. I say that's what white guys do.
Let me go on, please. Let me go on, Carl. I'm just saying that because you know what? You might have been joking, but that's what a lot of idiots do, right? They accuse somebody of being white or being gay and all this nonsense because they don't agree with somebody's viewpoint. And I think that doesn't advance whatever conversations we have, right? And then another thing is, you said, what does Biden have to do with Akon, right? Well, but at the same time, you started talking about Ukraine and $8 billion being given to Ukraine. I would ask, what does that have to do with Akon?
No, I wasn't. No, hold up. That's a nice try, Moochie, right? But I wasn't talking about Akon. I was talking. Hold up. I was talking about Raphael Warnock. I was talking about Akon. You understand? Let's clear that up. At that point, I was talking about Raphael Warnock. He can basically shut down the Senate if he wanted to. And since they're throwing away money anyway, let's get some of that money to the African continent. That's what I'm talking about. Now, do you agree with that?
Oh, okay, Carla. You know what?
Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do you agree with that?
You don't have to pin me to anything. All I want to say is
no. Yes, no. You tried to corner me. Yes or no? Do you think that's a good idea?
I don't agree with you that one.
Moochie.
No, the answer is no. I don't think one against
No. Are you kidding me?
He doesn't have power. What are you talking about?
Look, do you understand how the Senate works? We're split 50-50 almost in the Senate.
So what?
Raphael Warnock can stay home and whatnot. Oh my God. Do you understand how this is what most people don't even know how the legislature system works? The U.S. Senate, the U.S. Senate is the most powerful government body in the world.
I know that. I know that. I work in government. I know that.
This U.S. Senate, he can say the U.S. Senate is the one that puts sanctions. The U.S. Moochie, aren't you from Zimbabwe?
But I work for the U.S. government. But
I know you got a job in America, whatever like that, as a refugee. But aren't you from Zimbabwe?
Shut the hell up.
No. My whole thing is this. Moochie. Don't you want those sanctions? Don't you want sanctions on your country lifted?
Listen to me. You talk about refugees. My brother was one of 50 best attorneys in the world, working for the UNHCR as a
yeah, we heard this already. We heard this already. Hold on. The problem is, don't you want those sanctions lifted off Zimbabwe?
You say what?
Do you want the sanctions that's on Zimbabwe that's causing a refugee crisis in South Africa? Do you want those sanctions lifted? Those racist sanctions?
Yes, I want the sanctions removed. Yes. What's that got to do?
All right, Raphael Warnock can hold his vote.
Listen.
Wisdom. Now you understand what I'm talking about?
You've been babbling forever.
Now you understand what I'm talking about, Wisdom? They don't want to talk about. I gave them a solution. I gave them a solution that how they can use their vote. They don't want to do that.
Are you calling me a refugee? Are you joking? Are you joking?
Ain't nothing wrong with being a refugee, bro.
Are you joking? You said calling that a guy white was joking. So you're not a stereotypical guy. You're not a stereotypical guy. You just serious type of guy. You're just a joke. And he said at your age, you know, I've seen you. He said
he called them white. He called them white because continental Africans come here and they're fucking working in the government or surrounded by white people. So they don't understand the sentiments of African Americans. So the same way that you're offended by him calling you a refugee, Akon needs to speak. He needs to speak some respect when he's talking about African Americans. That's what we're talking about. The same way you're offended, the same way we're offended. And the way Akon is talking, he's sending satellites all throughout continental Africans and Africans in the diaspora, and that's how they're treating us. That's how they're treating us here, and that's how they're treating us abroad. So it's very serious. It's very serious, and Akon needs to apologize, and he needs to be called out. That's what we're talking about. He needs to apologize.
Hold on.
He needs to apologize.
This is sad.
Because when I'm in Ghana, when I'm in Ghana and some thirsty Ghanaian trying to get to America say, oh, let us come because we're not lazy. He regurgitates the same thing Akon just said. Oh, they're up on stage. They're lazy. They don't wake up. These are the same things white society has put out in the media for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years.
It's all right for him to insult, but we can't fight back. We can't defend ourselves.
There's no freedom of speech. When it comes to that, there's no freedom of speech. This shit is serious.
You don't know the country you live in. You sound ignorant as hell.
You don't agree with
this shit is serious.
You need to go read the Constitution.
There's no freedom of speech. There's no excuses. We don't like that
so
shit.
Rappers don't practice
he needs to be very specific.
Hip hop artists
and
all the other entertainers don't practice freedom of speech. Is that what you're saying?
When it comes to Pan-Africanism and when it comes to comparing us to Africans as if we're not fucking African either, no, there's no comparison. For the freedom of speech you're talking about with these fucking ghetto ass rappers, they're fucking talking about cum in their fries. Akon is trying to guilt us into joining his community, and he's insulting us at the same time. No, and he's not gonna be given that platform. He's not gonna be given that platform. So other Africans can get on stage and fucking down African Americans. Fuck that.
Do you
he needs to apologize?
Do you fit into the box that is describing? If you don't fit, why do you feel insulted?
I felt insulted because he said African American. That's why. And he said lazy. He said lazy, and he said they do drugs. That's why.
No, you are being disingenuous.
He just said African American. That's all he said. That's all he said.
I can't believe this idiots up here defending this stuff. This is what we're talking about.
Come on, man.
These are
the same people we have to deal with at our fucking jobs here in America. These are the same coons we have to deal with, and no one's calling you out. No one's calling you out.
These are Negro peons. These are Negro peons. These are Negro peons. They're not Africans. Negro peons. These are Negro peons. Moochie's a Negro peon.
You still talking? Well, Mike, listen, the thoughts and views of Kofi are not that of In Search of Uhuru. No African immigrant has ever got in the way of Dynasty Amir getting to the bag. All right, go ahead.
You live in a majority FBA. You live in a majority FBA county. Up here in New York City, I'm fucking surrounded. That's how I feel.
So you're a Negro peon then, right?
My name is Kofi, and they talk shit about African Americans because they.
All right, well, Mike. Even when I lived in Los Angeles, California, nobody has ever. I don't understand when grown adult men give this to other grown adult men. Like, no man has ever gotten in the way of Dynasty Amir getting to the bag.
It's childish. You are correct, Dynasty. You're correct.
And if a man, I guess, somewhat got into the way of getting the bag, Dynasty said, okay, no worries. I left.
Dynasty.
Moochie, why are you talking?
The reason why Liberia was overthrown because of this reason right here.
Like I said, no adult man has ever gotten. I can't give men this much power. I don't get it. No people, no immigrant, no Hispanic, no African immigrant, no white man has ever gotten in the way of Dynasty Amir getting to what he wants. I don't get it.
One second, Muchi, 1 second, please. The problem is they still put Akon like he's the leader of Africans. That's why they feel so empowered to give him this energy. He is one rich African that make money off of y'all. He does not speak for all Africans. And why is that so hard for you to believe? Why? And it's like, is he an elected official? No. He just got a loan from China, and now y'all raise him like he's the king of Africa?
And to be honest with you, I have to tell
grow
you
up.
something. To be
It is
honest with
sad
you,
when grown men saying that.
and another thing is this, to be honest with you, I don't even think Akon has as much money as he claims or makes himself appear to have. But you know what? I don't know his bank account, but the thing is, people talk, right? People say, I'm about to do this, I'm about to do that. And we just run with it and we believe everything. So that's why we give power to these celebrities. Why would I give power to Jay-Z, Beyonce, all these people? No, they don't speak for me and I don't have to listen to them. If I don't agree with what they talk about.
Americans do not assault Africans in the mainstream media. That's a fact. That's a fact.
You say what?
We don't do that. African Americans do not assault Africans in the mainstream media. We don't do it in our music. We don't do it on other platforms. We just don't do that. That's not a thing.
We patronize their art. They're in our movies. Where everything like that. You know, we're welcome. They're in our HBCUs. They're in our colleges. They're everywhere. They're all over Black America.
I gotta cut you off. Black African Americans bitching about too many Africans in HBCU.
That's those stupid FBA idiots.
Oh
those
no!
That's not. Don't insult me. That's not. Those are ADOS FBA people.
Then Akon don't speak for all Africans.
Speak for the majority of Africans. Just like you said. Hold on. You just said that there's black people in, but then a minute ago you said Akon don't speak for all Africans. But yet the ADOS FBA people suddenly, these fringe people in, like they all suddenly speak for all African Americans. See how you switch yourself around?
You said ADOS. I never said anything about ADOS.
Who told you that, Kyla? Who told you that?
You said, I said that's who the ones making the argument about Africans coming to HBCU. My brother, great African, right? Honorable man, brother right there, Liberian brother right there. His kids going to HBCU, Howard and whatnot, you know? And I said, man, goddamn, man, all these young Africans joining us. They're learning our story. They're learning our history. We're going to be one people together at one time and everything like that. And you got the ADOS FBA people talking this nonsense, all this stuff like that. Because the bottom line is, let me tell you something. I got so many African family and friends and whatnot, and they agree with everything I say. They said these stupid Africans that come over here with their divisiveness and the stuff like that, they come from the gutters of Africa. You know, they're not Pan-African. They're never going to be Pan-Africans. They come from the gutters of Africa. In 2023, I'm taking them out. You know, because they're the ones that's trying to destroy this movement. People like your Afro dumbass. That's what
Africans from the gutter.
You're very funny because let me tell you something.
Ain't nobody stopping me with nothing. I got what I want. I'm saying they're trying to stop the Pan-African movement with misinformation. That's stopping me. Nothing to stop me.
Don't make the assumption that every African is poor as you want to believe, okay? Some of us, we live in places that most American friends, when they look at where we live in Africa, say, what the hell are you doing in America? So don't make all these silly, stupid, assertions.
I'm talking about the mind. I'm talking about the gutter of the mind. I'm talking about the where you live at. You can live in a mansion and be in the gutter. That's about the mind.
What is that to you?
The same.
Hold on, Mike. Let's pass it to African Always. Go to African Always. African Always. Going once, going twice. All right, hold on. Let me bring on one more caller. Give me a second. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. For us. Go ahead, for us.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I think I can understand African Americans being offended by what Akon said. It was quite shallow of him. And I've noticed Akon has been positioning himself without any real mandate from Africans to be like a spokesperson for Africans. And he's been manifesting a lot of ignorance, thinking his beliefs and whatever he thinks it's what Africans think. No, Akon is a person. He's somebody that made it in America and his music, and he's been moving to Africa because he sees the the benefits of engaging in Africa. And when he has a platform like that, Akon was one of the first celebrities championing for African Americans to come back home. And I think when you're engaging in a movement like that, one thing you must understand is you must understand how to speak in public. You need a certain savoir-faire of how to use your words, especially when you got a big platform like that. So I, as an African who was raised by hip-hop, who does music, I will tell you right now, I'm doing Afrobeat, but 99% of the Afrobeat artists, we're all rappers. So we have influenced each other back and forth. There is no music in this world that didn't originate from Africa. From breakdance, I was surprised the other day.
Is this Masonic?
His name. Pardon?
Are you Masonic?
No, sir. No, I don't even.
I thought you.
No,
Okay.
I practice African, spirituality. Yeah. So, like I was saying, there's this artist. He's biracial, Yannick Noah, very big artist, big musician from France. He's half French and Cameroonian, and he mentioned something in his last interview, like the thing this dance called break dance in America, spinning on the floor. He's like, these originated from my tribe, and he is a chief in his tribe. He's like, we've been doing these things for centuries, but people just don't know because we don't have cameras. And to prove that, he had his villagers doing the same dances they've been doing for centuries in his latest video. And he was like, you might think that is breakdance. Then he gave the traditional name of that dance. So even in this village, you have the Bikutsi. What I think the Black Eyed Peas did, Hey Mama, swinging their hands and moving. All these things, there's nothing that is being done in America that has not been done in Africa. You can go into the tribes and you will see the blueprints of this birth. I don't know how come you do these things. For me, I find it quite amazing because that shows, like I said one time, blood is thicker than water. You could take people out of a land, but you can't take that land out of them, and you can't take that spirit out of them. So it's not like you're biting or you're copying. It's just the genius that lies in you people, and we should celebrate that. We should celebrate the continuity. Hip hop has done a great job. African Americans have set the pedestal very high, the bar very high, and I think it's amazing to see that Afrobeat is now coming up. Afrobeat is not what you listen right now. If you go back just 10 years, what music Wizkid was doing and the rest, it has evolved. So I think Akon should, when he has a platform like that, he should know how to use his word to encourage people to come together, to, respectfully, because right now, what I would say is there's an attack on the African-American culture. The powers that be, what Kanye West was talking about, the people controlling everything. They're trying to whitewash the African-American culture to replace them with people that don't look like them. So you have a lot of white rappers and, trying to position these people, but they can never be African-Americans because God didn't give them that talent. Also, there's been this destruction of the culture with immorality, drugs, violence, and everything. We see that. I want to challenge anybody right now on the panel. Name me any 5 rappers that used to produce music with so much value, like Nas, like The Roots, like Black Stars. I'm in Africa, but I will never stay in America, but I was influenced by these people. And even back then, when people rap gangster rap, nevertheless, they still explain this. They were able to express their pain. We have a lot of people like this in America, but they will not get signed. So instead of Akon saying Africans are bad, he should be able to pinpoint the facts because he's in the industry. He rubbed shoulders with these people. Why can't he say the culture is being attacked? We see that.
Because
Afrobeats
he's a
right
trader.
now,
He's
I'm
a
telling you,
race trader.
of course,
Akon's a race
but
trader.
listen,
He's a race trader.
let,
This is more. Let me say
yeah,
something about this. This is more than just he made a mistake. He's deliberately saying he knows
let
they
me
get him
land,
to
let me
that room.
land,
Say this is what you got to wrap
let me
around.
land,
This is what you got to do. Like
let,
that. He
let me
knows
land,
that.
my brother. Let me land. Listen, one thing I question myself is, I see the FBA with Tariq Nasheed, and I'm sure there's somebody standing behind Tariq Nasheed. There are people pulling strings. And when I heard Akon speaking, I was like, is this guy, maybe he's trying to play some political games. Maybe there's some people that are paying him to go around saying some type of crazy things
Exactly what's happening.
Yes, like what's happening? Why is he talking like this? He never used to speak like this. It was very disrespectful for me. And being somebody that actually made a living off this culture, you should be celebrating it. You should be trying to help solve the problems rather than saying Africans. Okay, the Africans. Yes, we've had many musicians that were great. We didn't have the TVs. We didn't have the major labels investing all this money in us. We're doing our thing with our little laptops in the rooms and everything. And Afrobeats was created. But before Afrobeats, we had the Ndombolo, we had Coupe de Calais. Check out this guy, DJ Rafat. This is a guy that used to fill stadiums. So when people come and they're like, name 5 artists out of Africa, there are so many. And in Africa, it's like every song we release comes with a dance. Every song we release comes with a concept, a dance. This was the tradition. And for an artist to make real music, he needed an orchestra to play. So when I see people loving Afrobeat, I think they're just loving the real essence of music, which goes to the guitar, the saxophone, the balafon, and all these things being played. This is the true African music. And I'm sure if you expose African Americans to the same condition, they will still do great. But right now, a lot of them are being controlled. And we should take that also into consideration and not go into a war where we're like, oh, this person is better than. No, moonwalk was being done in Africa through traditional dances in Ivory Coast. These things were already being done, but not the same way African Americans did it. So, and you didn't see us do it. You just did it like that because it lays in you. So, I see greatness in African Americans. I will always respect them. I appreciate their culture. And I think it's very important we, the youth, understand we have a bigger fight ahead of us, which is to take back our continent, free our people all over the globe, wherever they are, and then network together, because that is what is going to take us there. And we shouldn't let race baiters like, Tariq Nasheed, these ADOS, whatever. I mean, I don't really have a problem with you calling yourself FBO or trying to engage into a movement to get what is rightfully yours. But I don't see any interest in, in the cost of doing that, instigating hate against other groups. These are potential allies, even geopolitically. It doesn't make any sense. The only people that could sympathize, that could come to a table and look at things with the same view like you're poking them. And right now, 99.9% of Africans don't even know these things exist. So by the time we're getting internet everywhere and people start seeing videos like this popping, I wonder what the after effects would be. Because right now, people are not seeing this. And I know some tribes in Africa, they don't forgive. They don't forgive. And you never know, there might be a Tariq Nasheed in Africa that will instrumentalize these old videos and be like, hey, you see, this is how they used to talk about us. Look at Tariq Nasheed posting us and trying to make fun of. And then I think things might go in a very bad way. So let's try to see, let's do our best to respect each other.
Okay, brother. Most
and
Africans
celebrate each other's greatness.
Okay, brother, we heard you. Most Africans could care less what Tariq Nasheed thinks or what somebody believes he says is ADOS. So what? Nobody cares. I mean, I'm okay with if somebody has an opinion, African descendants of slaves, that's fine. That sounds appropriate. And if that's how they want to go by, I'm fine with that. I could care less. And most Africans are trying.
Yeah, but you're a Negropean. You don't care about Pan-Africanism.
No. Why should that's not Pan-Africanism? How somebody defines themselves.
That's the truth, though.
It's just like
I do care. I do care. You know what I'm saying?
That's you, and you're not me. You're not me. You're trying to force me to look at the world.
I be battling these FBA Adolf clowns all the time when they be talking shit about Africa because I care. You know.
Well, I don't care.
Because I care.
Maybe if you start speaking
because
one
you have no
ethnic
stake in this.
language.
You have no stake in this. You have no stake. You have no stake in this country. You have no stake any place. Of course you don't
Now
care.
you're the American, not the Pan African, right?
No, I'm a Black American Africa getting together. I care how we talk to each other. The discourse.
I have global entry. I pass.
He don't care. He doesn't care.
I have as much rights in this country as you do, and I have more rights in Africa than you do. So I have both dual citizenship. So
no, you don't have more rights in Africa than he does. You don't have more rights in Africa than he does, sir. I'm sorry to tell you that.
No, if you don't have a passport, then I have more rights.
You can if
they believe that
if
stuff.
you speak
They think they're privileged.
No, he's playing your game, Carla. That's what he's doing. He's playing the same game you're playing.
He has more rights than me as a U.S. citizen born here and raised here and whatnot. I got generations here, own land, own property, own a business here. You have more stake here. Okay, yeah.
Your mentality is dangerous.
I'm not one of those Africans who try to ingratiate myself with anybody. Okay, or just because somebody's African American, like this other brother is trying to do, and say, oh no, there is bad African Americans, there's bad Africans. Okay, and I'm not gonna align myself with bad people. If nobody's gonna come to my house with the pants dropping, like with the showing on the body, getting to my house. No, they won't, because I won't allow
Bro,
them.
those are stereotypes. Mr. Muchi, those are stereotypes. No, it's listen, no. Listen. Mr. Muchi, I'm from Cameroon. I'm from Cameroon.
Listen, I'm telling you what I do, not what you do in Cameroon. Okay?
Of course, I respect.
Do all South Africans have AIDS? Do all South Africans have AIDS and HIV?
Well, they're alive, so they obviously don't.
Do all South Africans have AIDS and HIV? I'm just saying.
You answered the question yourself.
Because if you want us to be on the same level, that's exactly how we could be. But we're not, because that's anti-me.
Only an idiot.
So why would you do the same thing?
Only an idiot would ask such a question. I wouldn't answer such a stupid question.
Like I said, the gutters of Africa are flooding into America. The filth and trash are flooding into America.
Is it the physical gutter or the mental gutter?
The trash at the people.
It's a mental gutter of Africa. The people who failed in their countries and whatnot end up over here, and I don't know what the heck their problem is. But they're trying to disrupt the real Pan-African movement.
And you calling yourself a Pan-African, Carla? That sounds.
Oh no, I mean, I'll say it again.
He's Zimbabwean, and they have he's a fake coming from the U.S. government.
I mean, Mr.
He's working with the U.S. government. Yeah, I mean the gutters of Africa.
I worked in corporate banking. I worked in government. I'm very proud, and nobody gave me a leg up. Okay, I work for everything.
So Super 78, sit down. You don't know what you're talking about. You're out of your league.
Out of your league. You need to stay here.
Mr. Muchi, with all what Zimbabweans face in South Africa, you can't be talking like that. You understand? Because those are the same stereotypes. I say those are the same stereotypes that are being used in South Africa to persecute Zimbabweans, being like, oh, they are taking our jobs, these, that.
They're burning Zimbabweans alive in South Africa. He's safe in America. He's safe in America because of us. He goes to South Africa, they kill his ass.
You have to, listen, my friend is the CEO.
He's stuttering. He can't come back from that. That's the truth.
My friend is the CEO of MTN, the biggest telecommunications company in South Africa. I won't be killed in South Africa. What the hell are you talking about? I was in South Africa a few months ago.
South Africa's telling me they want you guys gone. They don't want none of you there. They don't care what kind of degree you got. They would rather have the whites there than you. That's the problem we're talking about. That's the mentality.
You're all over the place. You don't make sense. You're all over the place. I'm used to people who talk with logic, with reason, with logic. You're all over the place. But the point
is, if they can't apologize,
Mr. Muchi, what you're saying, you say great things, but maybe the way you like the passion by which you say it might be misunderstood. But I'll get your point, because let's say the way the FBAs they carry themselves, I don't like. I tell them straight, bro. I don't want to be like you. I don't want to be you. I'm not trying to associate with you. But that is something I would say directly to an FBA that is misbehaving. But I think as we are here, like trying to, to exchange. I don't see any bad faith in anybody on the platform, but so I think maybe we can speak. Let's just try to be, let's be mature with each other and pass out across our point,
I agree with
and
that.
try to construct,
Tell the oldest
I
person
agree
on the
with that.
panel. If it
But
starts with the
look,
oldest
brother,
person,
look,
but
brother,
hey, at
look,
least we'll
brother.
still give you the
Look, at-
respect of being an elder, even
look,
though you
brother.
sound very ignorant of some of the things you say,
But
Kala. And it's
but
like,
look, brother. We
okay.
cannot
bro. You
let's
call
not
Kala
speak out about
ignorant.
African
How do you
Americans in
expect him
general
to
or speak
respond?
about Africans
To
in
be
general.
cool
We
with
can't
that?
do that. We
Wait, just relax. Kala has been saying a bunch of ignorant stuff, and I still give him the benefit of being an elder. So again, just because he's an elder and he says something ignorant, I cannot check him on that.
I understand you, bro. I understand,
No,
but
you
I'm just
don't.
like,
No,
damn,
you
man.
obviously don't. You obviously don't.
No,
Because
Exactly,
this
you
is the same
don't.
Kala. This
listen,
told
I
no,
understand you. I understand you.
No,
Listen,
no, but
you've explained why you said I understand and respectfully. I'm just trying, man. Come on, let's
no, the
produce
problem is
something out
always
of
sometimes
this
yelling
we
and
talk. Okay,
opportunity,
emotional. That's
man.
okay.
the crazy
We
part.
have
He's
to be
supposed to be the
self-critical. We
elder,
have to be
but he's the one that's
self-critical. It's
always.
very important. We should call a spade a spade. We have to be self-critical. This nonsense that we're all black people, so everything goes whatever. No, we should be self-critical because the reason why our communities are in shambles is because you know what? Nobody wants to take a criticism.
Somebody's got feedback. Somebody mute feedback. Somebody's got feedback. Somebody mute.
Bamba Kofa, your mic, you got to take your feedback off.
Well, before I leave, I'll just say
Somebody said,
something right
go
now.
ahead.
They are great. Afrobeat is doing great right now, but as we are here arguing, let's try to. I don't know if the business people here. It's very important. I don't understand how we've had generations of our brothers and sisters in America, geniuses that have made great music that are all owned by, white multinationals that have invested into music. We have our artists right now in Africa. Afrobeat is just an announcement of the greatness of Africa that is about to come. And we are sitting here and allowing our kids to sign to these record labels that tomorrow would derail them, would tell them to sing immorality, to push agendas that are totally against our morality and our ideologies. We are watching them because we are not setting any structures that is going to help support this kid. As Africans, I think we all agree our artistry is one of the ways by which we communicate with with our gods, with the universe. So it's very, very sacred, and we cannot allow third parties to come and control or tell us what to do or cash out of our culture. This is unbelievable. And right now, we have no major people investing in these kids. But guess what? Universal is rushing to Africa. Warner Brothers are rushing. Now, I was just checking this platform they call Empire, and they got Empire Africa signing all these talents on the low. They're not making any noise. That is how they're infiltrating. And tomorrow, they've dominated the market. And they will start telling us what to do. What has happened in America will repeat itself again. Are we going to blame the
That's
white
what
man?
Akon's doing, distracting us.
Are we going to blame the white man, or are we going to blame ourselves? And even the youths right now in America, those rapping, the OGs will come and be like, "Hey, they're not doing it right." What did you do for them? You signed a messed up deal, and you allow these kids that are young enough to be your sons, to be your nephews, sign the same deal like you did. Nobody, the Snoop Dogs, the Jay-Z's, they can't even see eye to come together to create a movement, even to have a distribution, a distribution system for our music. They rather beef with each other. They rather poke fingers, tell each other, I got your entire wealth on my wall as art. Like, just like what's happening with black people? In the Caribbean, it's the same thing. We're seeing the whitewashing of dancehall through so-called reggaeton, which is just ragamuffin. Jamaicans don't even make an inch of the money all these so-called white reggaeton artists are making, which is just a generic sound they keep repeating back to back. Now we got people in Korea doing Afrobeats, which is great. But guess what? Do we control that market? Are we making any penny of a dime? Are we making any dime out of the money that our cultures are generating? So, I mean, like, these are important things we should be addressing. Akon said what he said, and he was totally wrong and ignorant. But what are we going to do to protect ourselves from being enslaved again? That is my question.
Akon does not speak for all Africans. I completely disagree with him.
Facts.
It's not because Akon said it and he's in the entertainment industry, and that like entertainment industry has a big impact on what we talk about as in the Black community, that we got to take that as all Africans' opinion. That's completely like generalizing.
It's not coming from the
That's
African
doing the same thing that Akon is doing. He's generalizing all African Americans.
It's very important. The reason why a
Africans
lot of
based on
Africans
what
are
he
tone
said.
deaf, and you don't hear Africans coming out to against Akon, because he don't speak for them. Have you ever thought about that? He's not their leader. So why the hell do they have to check him?
Exactly. But who are these guys in the chat room? There's all
that important to me.
all these people in the chat room saying, I agree with Africa. I agree with Akon.
He did some things. You feel me? He represents something, of course, because it's Akon.
Yeah.
He made all this money. You
And
feel
it's
me?
so hard for them to
at,
just
at the end of the day, he don't represent all Africans or all African. He don't represent black culture at all. Like, he's not like the symbol.
I know that.
He
I got
don't
plenty of
rap
African
music.
friends. They're like, they're embarrassed.
Stop putting too much energy into him. That's the point.
Yeah.
No, how we got to go back to the top of the show, right? I said this has to be addressed one time and multiple times. The last time I'm going to speak on this. You know, this is a night for that. You know, there's a night for that.
Hopefully, this is the end for putting too much energy on these entertainers, who half of them are broke.
Well, you can't. Well, let me say super slide. Let me say something. Let me say something. Now, hold on. The next time when they have a shake your booty to the pole, and y'all see you coming out for that in the video, going along with it, talking about no booty, no what's that? No bucket, no whatever. You know, the next time you go bop your head to that and don't bop your head to that, then I'll talk to you. You know what I'm saying? But when you Negroes are out there, you know, Trina, what?
Who's that? Who was that?
I'm talking about all you. You know, people like you.
You?
I'm just talking about all. I'm talking about the people that basically listen to celebrities, right?
Which people?
You know, people, Kyrie Irving. You know, yeah, I'll be honest with you, right? I didn't know who the hell Kyrie Irving was until all this thing happened. I don't know. I can name you two basketball players I know: LeBron James and Steph Curry. That's the only ones I know.
You're deflecting.
But I don't hold on. I don't know any. I don't know any of these rappers by face and everything. These celebrities' opinions mean nothing to me. But you guys, well, they influence how you vote.
Who's you guys?
What you eat, what you talk about, and everything like that.
Who's you guys? Be specific.
The Black community, the African American community.
Right.
They're saying, hold on. The African American community is influenced by Michelle Obama gets up there and says that you got to get out there and vote for this senile idiot Joe Biden. And we went out there to the polls. Barack Obama, a failed president, went out there and said, y'all got to get out there at John Lewis's funeral. His body's not even cold. He's talking about get out there and vote. You know, so the bottom line, don't tell me about those celebrities. Celebrities are every place. They tell you how is Vivica Fox? How is Vivica Fox got a show talking about politics? Give me a break.
Carla,
talk about celebrities. Celebrities are here to stay.
Carla, wait a second. The difference between people like you is that most Africans, we don't go by putting some rep or some musician on a pedestal and assuming that they speak for us. We don't do that. The problem.
Well, how did George Weah get elected president of Liberia? He's a football player.
Let me speak. Okay, we are much smarter than that. It's just like I hear this thing about no snitches, this and that. But I'm smart enough to know most African Americans are law abiding. They don't go by that. They are not criminals. So why would I care what some celebrity or some idiot on the internet says?
Innocent brothers in jail. Innocent brothers in jail.
People in jail mostly are guilty.
Shut up, you idiot. You saying that as a Black American? Look at you. So an African is defending all the innocent brothers in jail.
Oh, yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth. Yo, look. Bottom line is this. You got 300 murders in Philadelphia. I mean, it's Baltimore this year alone, small city. All right. Are the guns just firing themselves, or basically is somebody shooting them? 300
So you
murders this
stereotyping
year
your
in
own people
Baltimore.
now,
Yeah,
right?
that's a record.
You stereotyping every black
Well,
person.
no, it's
Everybody
not
in
stereo.
jail
So
is
don't try to do this. Hold on. No. There's two black Americans. There's Black America and Black America X, right? I belong to the real Black America. And then there's a Black
you're
America
dividing
that does all
yourself
that
now,
fuck
right?
shit. All right?
Okay.
I'm saying it ain't no divide stuff. It's down the line. That's what I said. We're cutting lines. Either you're on this side right here, or you go with the rappers and all this other people that destroyed our culture. You know?
Yeah, you
There's
ain't
no
no
we
elder,
anymore.
Colin. You ain't no elder.
No, there's no we anymore. And I don't give a damn who doesn't like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're dividing your own people and you're calling yourself, yeah, okay.
All this freaking
The
nonsense.
fact that
All this
I
nonsense.
have to defend innocent brothers in
Bottom
jail
line is
tells me you have a
bottom
sick
line
mind.
is that the fact that hold on. The fact of the matter is that people can even say stuff like that. People believe it. Black people are thugs, the criminals, the murders, and everything. If people can believe that, that's because nobody pushes back on that.
You just said that, you idiot.
No, I know, but I said there are those people. That's not the majority of us. That's what's out there in the public, in the airways. That's why I attack them. But when people come out there and start calling black people thugs, and everything, like Kunis Owens and all these other people, that's what talking about black people while she's laying up with a white man and whatnot, I attack these freaking people like that because I know the real Black America. I'm in it.
Yeah. Yeah, you tried, Kala, but yeah, you seem to be too emotional.
No, your comprehension can't understand what I'm saying. You're trying to be slick, right? But you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're trying to be slick. You're not that clever. Hold on. You're not that clever. You got up here and start talking about why black people voted for Democrats because of Joe Biden, because you're conservative. I get it. You're a Republican.
I made a distinction.
I said you're a Republican. Oh yeah, you're a Republican. I get that, right? So you try to use a Democrat.
I'm a Republican
like that, now. But why? You came up here talking about why did black people vote blue? If you know the history, right? Black people vote Democrat because that's what the culture tells us that. You said Joe Biden is socialist. White people vote blue. If you knew anything about, if you understand black culture and what's going on in Black America between the celebrities, everything else, the peer pressure, and everything, that's why black people vote Democrat.
Who pressured them?
You know,
peer pressure.
So the bottom line, if you don't know that, you don't know really much about black community. Like I said, I don't want to call you a white guy again, but you know.
Oh, it's too late. It's on record.
You don't know what's going on in the culture.
I forgive you though. I forgive you because you just say ignorant stuff to make yourself feel good to win.
But I'm just saying, but that's the white guy. You using the white guy logic. You using the
that's not a white guy.
You're using the white guy logic. It's a white guy logic, you know.
All Africans.
And the bottom line is
you using why are you using those shortcuts, man? You can't just call somebody a white guy just because he don't know the problems of black Americans in America.
I don't know the problems. Right? I'm the one that saying there's a lot of innocent brothers in jail, and this black guy over here telling me that. Okay, sure.
And also,
that's not enough to be called a white guy.
No, Kala, I have a question for you, Kala.
Delusion, man. But anyway, man, you tried, Kala, but you ain't as smart as you think you.
I have a question for Kala.
Yeah, I did, and I succeeded. I succeeded.
I have a question for you, Kala. Okay, just an honest question. All right. You know, I find it very hard to understand. You're African American. Maybe you can explain this to me, okay? How is it that African Americans who are quite well educated, a significant portion of the population, how is it that they can be influenced by some hand, I mean, something hovering in the sky to say, vote for this party, and they don't think for themselves?
Bro, if I had that answer, I'd be a billionaire. Let me tell you something, because let me tell you something about African Americans, right? We're the most, you know, in our culture, right? You don't have black men who will stand up, right? Like we don't have Martin Luther King, we don't have Malcolm X anymore and everything. I think a lot of times, right, when black people get up and that could say stuff, right? And there's an old saying, the light bill got to be paid. The light bill got to be paid. So there's a lot of people that get into politics. They got good intentions, right? And they'll basically look at Ice Cube, right? Ice Cube said, you know something, I'm a rich guy and everything. I was hearing what Donald Trump was saying. So let me, as a man, talk to Donald Trump man to man about the $500 billion platinum plan. Donald Trump said, I think we could do that. We looked to do it. Just for meeting with Donald Trump, suggested to me here comes Vivica Fox and all the Angela Ray, whatever her name is, whatever her name is, all these other, how dare you, snapping their fingers, twisting their necks or not, and then they went on to say, and then the brothers, right, instead of being men and saying, something, let's stand by Ice Cube and see what he's talking about, right? We start like women turning on each other. Oh man, this is because there's no honor among cowards, right? Because the bottom line is, if black men were real Pan-Africanists, and we really just had 1 foot in America, 1 foot in Africa, like we're supposed to, and we're more global, we'll say, something, we got really nothing to lose. Let's just do that, right? They want us to. They have this idea, right? This is why the Pan-African movement right here that you see right here, Prince Stein Samir, myself, and everybody else that's building in Africa, right? You'll never see it on the mainstream media because they want to make the mass of black people think that the only thing we have is the 50 states of America. That's how they define us. That's how they think. And then when Africans come over here, what they do is they pit Africans against African Americans, right? They deliberately pit us against each other and say, "Oh, this group's going this, just like they pit black men and black women against each other." And everything is all divide and conquer, and everything. They play this game, and so therefore we don't have any real base to operate with. There's no base to operate.
Yeah,
so we just basically go along
arguing
with
right
what
now is pointless.
That's
exactly why we shouldn't use this as an opportunity to argue. Like that's exactly what we're not supposed to be doing. We're not supposed to be arguing about who has the best, whatever. Or who's the best.
Listen, we can have a discussion.
It's not about
argue.
African Americans and Africans, or Africa or West Africans and the ones in South Africa or It's not about that. Because we have a bigger problem than that. Like we have to fight like the fact that we have these issues. We shouldn't be having these problems. Like we shouldn't be arguing about.
People don't want to recognize that. Let me ask you a question.
Like the question in the interview, like
we're wasting so much energy. Nothing productive is coming out,
man. That question was very like I don't know. It's pointless. She asked something about basically like when you summer it down, it's basically about who's the best, African Americans or Africans.
That's childish.
And that question
man.
Is pointless. Why would you ask that?
That's some schoolyard.
Yeah, exactly. That's some high school shit. You feel me?
Bro, man, we're tired of that.
Maybe Akon.
It's not the point.
Well, maybe brother Akon could learn his lesson.
Man, Dinus, please, if you can hear me, man, right, please run some lives where we could come and network on how to create something like a, investment fund, and let's do something. Me right now, I'm in Europe, man. I got people back home that are heavily into agriculture, trying their best. But guess what, Brother Kala? Listen, like you got people in America that you say they come into politics, they're claiming they want to do good for the people. We got the same problem in Africa. And guess what? Only us are going to find the solutions to this problem. Check what is happening in Burkina Faso. Check what is happening in Mali. They are youths like me and you that said enough is enough. Military people, and they took back the power and they are ready to work for their people. You understand?
Same thing happened in Congo with the CD3. And I'm not going to go against I don't know. I'm like neutral. After what this president of the Congo just did, I'm like this. Maybe the rebels got a point.
Listen. The fact is, whatever is happening in Congo, all these people, I named 2 countries right now. If you're Pan-Africanist, that's where you should be going to. Mali and Burkina Faso. If you're talking about independence, these are the 2 countries that right now are standing on what is independent. They have given the France the middle finger. But guess what? As we're talking right now, these people are trying to free Africa, but they don't have the financial backings. The white folks, they got billionaires that are ready to stand for their ideologies and their, whatever the direction they choose to drive towards. We are screaming freedom, but guess what? These people are risking their lives. The president of the guy that took power in Burkina Faso, he's risking his life, but guess what? What are we doing? We're just standing and looking at him. Instead
But
of
we're not even
actions,
discussing this.
Brother,
We're not even discussing this on Pan-African platforms.
Brother, you've got good points, okay? You got good points. But let me tell you something, okay? You should stop this idea that, oh, some white person should help us. Oh, we should get loans from someone. Look at what happened in Afghanistan.
That's not what he said.
Wait, the Russians went
That's not
to
what he
Afghanistan.
said.
That's not what
He said
I
we should have
said,
our own
bro.
billionaires.
That's not Mr. Mucci. I think
That's not what he said.
you didn't understand me.
You say that the white people are not supporting this or something like that.
No. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I'm saying
He said the white people support their cause.
I said the white people got money. I said the white people got money when they have an idea. They are ready to finance their ideas. We are looking at the people that have taken arms and they are free in our continent, and we are not trying to create, economic.
We don't have billionaires behind us. That's what he said.
We can finance them and invest.
That's okay, bro. That's okay. Sorry about that. I mean,
we should be trying to see how we can organize and invest in Mali. Yes, we should be trying to see how we can network. These people are, these guys are like 30-something years old. France is done in Mali. France is done in Burkina Faso, and the revolution will continue.
And to be honest, we don't even
hopefully
lack
done in
millionaires.
Cameroon.
We have a lot of people we have a lot of black people that's rich. It's just that the elite, like the rich black people, they don't care about like the real issues of black people. That's the real issue. Like 80%, I'll say 90% of the richer Africans, they don't care about Pan-Africanism,
because they're part of the system,
all that kind of stuff. Because they think that like now it's not about their life anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like those problems do not represent them. You feel me? That's how they
did
see
you see
it.
what happened in Nigeria?
Most of them, that's how they see it. Like
Bamba, did you see what happened in Nigeria 2 weeks ago?
Exactly.
Where they found trillions of naira that had been stashed on the ground. The money had been stashed for so long it got decayed. I'm talking trillions, bags and bags of money.
That's a lot of money.
That is the type of mentality we are dealing with. People that are so wicked and self-centered that they rather see their people die.
Outside of the continent, everywhere, but they just don't care. They don't care. That's the real issue. Like we should have more young people, young black people who are tomorrow going to be rich and powerful, care about the continent.
But we are here. So we are here.
Know about the problems that we are facing. You feel me? Like black people should be more on the topic. We're not. That's not the kind of stuff that we like to talk about. We like to talk about things like entertainment, music. You feel me? We need less music producers and more engineers, more Malcolm X's and all that. It's not like we lack money. We don't lack money. We just have to change
the Malcolm
mindset.
X's, the engineers are there. They are there right now. But what are we doing to create a financial, structure to sponsor them? I'm telling you right now, you go into the neighborhoods in America, you will find geniuses in whatever sector in life you're trying to look for. You go to Nigeria, you go to Zimbabwe. We got the brains.
But then it comes
we make this world
do they
turn.
care enough? That's what I'm saying. That's
do we care enough? Do we care enough? Do we care enough? Right now, if I'm like, hey, let's give me your contact, let's network, let's try to create a structure. Okay, how can we do business together? What idea could we come together and finance? Who on this platform will be ready to go that extra mile? We talk, but we should take actions. That is all that matters. You could talk how much you ever, whatever you want. America was built by bankers, businessmen. Americans didn't have people speaking, talking and chanting out. We know those things. What are we doing? What are the moves? What are we doing? Are we going to keep complaining?
Here's where this is. Wait a second. This is where I agree with Carla, right? This is one thing I agree with Carla. For example, right? We know there's a fact. The most richest black people are in America, in the US, because that's the biggest economy in the world, right? But the problem, the disconnect is that the majority of African Americans have not made that link to see how they can even be more wealthier by investing in Africa, right? But what some do is just shout about the Chinese, shout about the Indians, shout about the Europeans. But the African Americans could be establishing a footprint in Africa, and they're already accepted. I mean, you know what? All this nonsense about Africans versus African Americans, it's by people who don't travel. Because the people who actually travel to the continent, they know that the overwhelming majority of Africans are happy to see African Americans. Not because they want to get a cent from them, but because they know that you're kin and far. We're the same people. You understand? Now, whether somebody agrees to that or not, that's besides the point. But if African Americans, for example, you look at Kanye West, right? He's busy making all these issues and all this. If he had black people who would be advising him, telling him, hey, look, brother,
go back to Africa.
Wait a second. Wait. If he knew that there's AGOA, right, that was put in place by Bush, that allows African countries to export to America with no duty free. You understand? You could have been busy taking the Chinese equipment, putting it in Africa, and manufacturing his clothes and exporting them to America and making money quietly. But you know what? You just want to be a loud mouth.
Well, not everybody is a revolutionary. Not everybody is that sharp. There are people that might not speak, they will take actions. That is why you have business people everywhere. So don't expect because Kanye West sang music and he's on the front page of Forbes magazine or Time magazine, he might not even have that common sense to think think what you're thinking. So I think if you're able to think like this, you should be able to act. So I'm not expecting Kanye West to save me. You understand? Kanye West is not my savior. Kanye West is a musician to me, and he remains a musician. Me, I'm responsible for my future.
I think he's talking about how Kanye West is focusing so much on America and thinks like
Kanye West is not even focusing on America. Kanye West is focusing on white people. He's focusing on white validation.
But I think Kanye West has this big ambition of being very rich, powerful. I think
for himself and his family, but man, not for the black community. Not
potential.
Don't focus on
that.
So he could come and exploit Africa and give it to Kim Kardashian. Is that what you're trying to say? So he could come and exploit Africa and give it to Kim Kardashian? No. Let him stay over there, bro.
Don't focus on the name. You are being narrow, brother. You are being narrow. What I'm saying is there are many.
It's about the money, though. At the end of the day,
there's many black Americans.
If he comes to Africa.
It's not about the money, bro.
That's what we need the most. Like us black people, we are very, very ideological. We need to be less ideological and more practical.
We need to create that money.
We need it. No matter listen to me. We really need that money, bro. Like we need it. no matter what his political views are. Like we need to be less ideological. Like this is something that we need to look at from white people. They're not like this. I'm not saying they're perfect or whatever, but this is a very good thing about them. They're not so ideological. It's not about this is what he thinks of. It's not about that. It's about who can come in here, create some jobs, and get the youth to work. It's about the money needs to flow regardless. We don't care if it's
I disagree.
Especially Kanye West. I'd rather Kanye West do it than that guy in Senegal that created that oil company and what's his name again?
Do you mean the brother of the president Mao or something? Some who sold the rights to some American company for cheap or whatever? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about this French guy. He created a oil company in Senegal. He did some corruption. He corrupted the whole government. He's not better than Kanye West, but he's making some money. He's creating money.
Is it Vincent?
Yeah, Borobe or whatever his name is. That guy. You feel me? Like we need Kanye West to do that. Even if he don't believe in black, in pro-black or whatever. I don't care. We need the money. That's all we need. Like we're being very ideological if we think that we don't need somebody's money just because they're not pro-black. Especially if we're talking about African Americans. like black people, other black people.
It runs
even the
deeper than
Chinese,
that.
even the Chinese
It
let their
runs deeper
Western
than
enemies,
that.
Yeah,
the
even the
Americans, to come.
Chinese, we
They let
need
the
the money.
Americans
Like
come to them.
it's not about like being allies with people. Like it's whoever can create jobs. Of course,
That's
like
what
you
I'm
gotta
saying.
look at the business contracts.
The
It's like
Chinese let the Chinese let
it's
the
not
American
about
companies
creating
come into
allies
China.
or anything like that. It's about whoever can bring us money. We need some money.
Exactly, on your conditions. You just put conditions and make sure you're not getting exploited. That's all it is. The Chinese let the American companies come and manufacture, and guess what? They stole all the technology and the intellectual whatever capacity that the American companies were bringing, and now they have world-class companies. That's all you need.
We need to be way less ideological, man.
I would just say one thing, right? Just because Africa is in a position where they need things doesn't mean just because you're black means you can really do realistic things, right? I mean, there are people that are incompetent. So I mean, you cannot just bring people in just because of being black and being incompetent. Thing you need the money for. No, it just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't
No,
work like
that's
that.
no. I'm saying whoever can bring us. That's what I said. Whoever can bring us the money. Like
Right.
whoever can bring the money. If you're incompetent, you can't bring no money. It's about business. We need to be powerful. Like we need money. Like we need a strong black community.
Hey
And that's
guys,
how it
we're
happens.
gonna
People come and
hey
invest,
family,
no
we're
matter
gonna
where they
close
come
out.
from.
We're gonna close out. Hey, listen, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. I really appreciate the conversation. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. Peace.
All right. Happy holidays, everybody.